Good evening, baseball fans, and welcome to the 1915 World Series Game 1 on Out of the Park Baseball 24. The Philadelphia Phillies will be taking on the Boston Red Sox. Taking the mound tonight for the Phillies, Grover Cleveland, Pete Alexander, who in the season went 31-10 with a 1.22 earned run average. Smokey Joe Wood takes the mound for the Boston Red Sox. Will be playing in Boston today. Smokey Joe Wood, 15-5 in the regular season, a 1.49 earned run average. Looks like it's going to be a good one. Some players to watch for as we go along. Dave Bancroft, Gabby Kravitz, Possum Whitted, Bills Becker. Got a lot of great players on each side. Tris Speaker, we'll see Babe Ruth in this series. Duffy Lewis. So it looks like it's going to be a good one. The actual World Series in 1915, the Boston Red Sox won 4-1. Philadelphia won that first game and then lost 4 straight, looking for revenge here in 2023. So let's get to it. Samuel Smith, still an over play-by-play for Out of the Park? Nope, still none, unfortunately. Hopefully that's something that they're going to add. So just kind of have to put up with my voice, unfortunately. So there's Big Clue. And good evening, guys, and welcome in. All right, the starting lineup for the visiting Philadelphia Phillies of 1915. Leading off in center field, Possum Whitted. Batting second and third base, Milt Stock. Batting third, first baseman, Fred Luderis. Batting cleanup in right field, Gabby Kravitz, one of the dead ball era's best power hitters. Batting fifth in left field, Bills Becker. Batting sixth, shortstop, Dave Beauty Bancroft. Batting sixth and catching, Rabbit Bill Killefer. Batting eighth at second base, Bert Niehoff, and taking the mound and batting ninth, the great Grover Cleveland, Pete Alexander. For the Boston Red Sox, leading off in center field, Tris Speaker. Batting second at third base, Larry Gardner. Batting third, patrolling the left pasture, Duffy Lewis. Batting cleanup at first base, Dick Blitzel. Batting fifth in right field, Harry Hooper. Batting sixth and catching, Hick Cady. Batting seventh at second base, Jack Barry. Batting eighth, shortstop, Everett Scott. And batting ninth in pitching, Smokey Joe Wood. So the weather today, 54 degrees, the wind blowing in from left to 12 miles per hour. And this is game 1 of the 1915 World Series replay. I've let the AI select lineups and everything like that, and just going to commentate the game. There we go. Giving it a little bit of a pick. I don't know that I necessarily like this view, so let's switch it around. Something they couldn't have done, obviously, in 1950. Oh, that looks a lot nicer. Yeah, that looks a lot nicer. All right. While we're getting set up here, thanks to so many of you last night who took part in our little chat. And yeah, got some nice commentary, some nice feedback. All right, so Possum Whitted steps in the regular season in 1915. He hit .281 with a .666 OPS for the Philadelphia Phillies. And let's get underway here as we do a pan around of a very early Fenway Park. The park is 3 years old by the time of this World Series. And here's the wind and the delivery by Smokey Joe Wood. This one chopped to short, and for the easy 6-3 put out, Everett Scott making the play. So 1 up, 1 down here for third baseman Milt Stock. Milt Stock hit .260 in 1915. Smokey Joe Wood ready to work. Here's the 3-1 delivery to Milt Stock. Stock swings on this one, flare to left, but making a nice, easy catch on that is Duffy Lewis. So 2 up, 2 down here for Philadelphia in the bottom of the first. And there's JT Dutch. Welcome in, JT. And welcome to 1915. Let's get this into, I think we're good. Full screen, yep. All right, Luderus bats lefty. Hit .315 for the Phils with 7 home runs, 62 runs batted in. Smokey Joe Wood with the wind and the delivery to Luderus. Luderus swings, and this one, a shallow fly ball to center field, but coming in and making the catch and making it look easy, the Gray Eagle, Tris Speaker. So the Red Sox face the minimum. We go to the bottom of the first inning here, and it's the Philadelphia Phillies nothing. The Boston Red Sox coming to bat. So Tris Speaker will lead it off. We have Hall of Famer versus Hall of Famer here. Alexander versus Speaker. Speaker in 1915, I'm sorry, hit 69 runs batted in. 322 average for him. Alexander's finished his warm-up pitches. Here is the 1-1 pitch to Tris Speaker. The league hit 187 against Speaker in 1915. Here's the swing, little chopping ground ball back to the mound. And Alexander takes it on the bounce and on the late throw. This one close, but Speaker with the infield single. So the first hit in this game, and it brings up Larry Gardner. And I need to get a picture of Alexander, as this face gen looks nothing like him. Should have checked these. So Tris Speaker, a serious threat to steal, and here is Larry Gardner. Cooper asked why I was so tired today. I said, up late. Why? He asked. I replied, talking baseball. That's right. Hey, if you get it, you get it. Absolutely. Alexander deals now to Larry Gardner. And there goes Speaker. And up and gunning. And with the throw is Killefer. And the head first slide. And Tris Speaker picks up a steal. So Boston now with a runner in scoring position. Nobody out. And here's the 2-2 to Larry Gardner. Hit .258 on the season. Gardner, big swing and a miss. So Alexander picks up the strikeout, and that brings up Duffy Lewis, famed of Duffy's Cliff, which actually did not originate in Fenway Park, but actually in Huntington Avenue grounds. So Lewis hit .291, 2 home runs, 76 runs batted in. Speaker, an aggressive leadoff second. Alexander into the wind in the 0-1. Little ground ball to second. And on the 4-3 put out, Niehoff with the pick and bobbles the ball a little bit, but makes the throw on to Fred Luderus at first for the 4-3 put out. So 2 away, and Speaker moves to third. We will see Babe Ruth pitching in this World Series, so that will be a lot of fun. Ruth not in the Red Sox lineup today. Blitzel. Dick Blitzel, the first baseman now. Hit .283 in 1915, 2 home runs, 61 runs batted in. So 1 hit in this inning so far, a stolen base. Tris Speaker just 90 feet away at third base. The lefty stands in the box. Alexander has the sign from Rabbit Bill Killefer. Full count now to Blitzel. Here it comes. Blitzel swings comebacker to the mound. Should be no problem. And indeed, Alexander makes the 1-3 put out to end the inning. So the Red Sox get a hit and strand a runner, and we go to the top of the second inning, and we are scoreless here at Fenway Park. Due up, Gabby Kravitz here, the right fielder. Kravitz, 24 home runs in 1915, with 115 runs batted in, hit .285. Smokey Joe Wood sets and fires. Kravitz cuts on this first pitch, slow dribbler to third, and up with it and making the bang-bang play is Larry Gardner. He fires it on to Dick Blitzel for out number 1 on the 5-3 putout. As Big Clue says, Tigers are trying to avoid their 10th straight loss. I didn't know the Tigers were getting their butts kicked like that. Wow. So they're tied 5-5 with the Braves in the 10th inning at home tonight. Yeah, you have to root for Steve's team here, absolutely. So go Tigers. I'd root for them anyhow, my favorite American League franchise. So, but let's go Tigers. Wow. 10-game slide, right? Oof. All right, here's Bills Becker. Bills Becker spent some time with the Pittsburgh Pirates, now with the cross-Commonwealth Philadelphia Phillies. In 1915, he racked up 11 home runs with 35 runs batted in. .246 hitter for the left fielder. Smokey Joe Wood pitching with the bases empty. The 1-2 delivery to Beals Becker coming in now. And Becker, a little flare to right. Will this stay up? Indeed it will. And Harry Hooper making it look easy out there in right field. 2 quick outs here for Philadelphia in the top of the second. Hall of Fame shortstop Dave Bancroft in there now. 254, 7 home runs, 30 runs batted in. Bancroft really in there for his superb defense. An excellent shortstop. Wood deals. Here's the 2-0 to Bancroft. Bancroft swings. This one a flare into right center. This could get down for a base hit, and indeed it does. So Bancroft aboard, and that will be the first Philadelphia Phillies hit in this game. Bancroft a threat to steal, and here's Rabbit Bill Killefer. Killefer with 24 runs batted in, 237 in 1915. Wood checks Bancroft at first. Here's the wind in the 0-2 delivery. And this one's, snap throw down to first. So nice snap throw by Hick Cady. But Bancroft back safely, leaning, but just not quite a step far enough for the Red Sox to get him. So, but good play back there by the Red Sox catcher. Here's the 1-2 now. And a little chopper to second. This should end the inning. Up with it. And over is Jack Berry. So that will retire Killefer and the side. Inning over. The Phillies pick up a base hit, and that is all. We go to the bottom of the second inning here. And out of the park 24, and this alternate replay of the 1915 World Series, and we are scoreless. Hall of Famer Harry Hooper will lead it off here for the Boston Red Sox. Hooper hit 235 in 1915 with 2 home runs and 51 runs batted in. As World's Worst Gamer comes in, bonjour. Which is interesting because in every source, there's 2 V's for him. So, interesting bit of trivia. Thank you for that, JT Dutch. Appreciate it. I've always seen it with 2 V's, and every reference to him, every baseball resource, I've seen it as Gavi with 2. So, Gavi Kravitz would become a judge. So, minority of players certainly in the dead ball era, but some educated men who played the game back in the day, alongside coal miners, steel workers, and what have you. All right, base is empty. Here we go. Alexander with the 2-0 delivery to Harry Hooper, and Hooper liner down the line to right. Hooper's going to try for 2 here, digging for the Keystone sack, and he is in there with a stand-up double. So here come the Red Sox, second base hit for their, and this is the first extra base hit in the game. Yep, few and far between. Cousin Ken Castro, this World Series is for you, the 1915 series. So I want to give a try here because, no, that did not work the way I wanted it to. Just getting a black bar there. I think it's because I'm using a different monitor. All right, anyhow, back to it, and here's Hick Cady now. And Hooper with superb speed at second. So a base hit could easily score the first Boston run. Killefer sets the target for Old Pete. Here's the 2-0 delivery, and showing bunt is Hick Cady. He'll take that one inside. Here's the 3-0, or the 3-1. And there goes the runner. So Hooper was off with the pitch, and the sacrifice successful. So kind of sacrifice, hit, and run. And moving to third base is Harry Hooper, and here comes Jack Berry. Jack Berry, probably best known for his time also with the great Philadelphia Athletics, that $100,000 infield. By this time, Connie Mack would have sold or traded these players off, and Jack Berry was one of them, Black Jack Berry. So Berry hit 262 in 1915 with 26 runs batted in. And there's, of course you're welcome here. Of course you're welcome here, Jackass, Whiskey and Pinto Beans. Welcome in. If you wouldn't be welcome here, you would know, and you still have a wrench. So yeah, like I told you, it's nothing personal. If you don't like the game, don't come in. That's all. All right, anyhow, Hooper at third, and Jack Berry in the box. Here we go. Berry swings, grounder to short. This should bring in a run, and indeed it will. So scoring on the play is Harry Hooper. And in the bottom of the second inning, the Boston Red Sox jumping out to a 1-0 lead. Here we are in the third full season of Fenway Park. No monster out there yet to speak of. A high left field fence. The angle, of course, you'd be able to see out there in center. All right, here is Everett Scott now, shortstop for the Boston Red Sox. Scott in 1915, 28 runs batted in, hit just .201. Here's the payoff pitch to Everett Scott. And cut on. And this one, a comebacker. Oh, this one fielded by Luderis, I'm sorry, and takes to the bag himself, and Everett Scott is retired. However, the Red Sox pick up a run. We go to the top of the third inning. It's the Red Sox 1 and the Philadelphia Phillies 0. And Bert Niehoff will leave it off, and then Grover Cleveland Alexander and Possum Whitted here for the Phillies in the third inning. And I know for many of you these are names you've never heard, but I guess we'll know them by the end of this World Series. Again, Philadelphia losing the 1915 World Series. One game won, lost the next 4 straight. Looking for some revenge all these years later. Wow, 4,500 miles away. The guns are booming. Niehoff, 2 home runs, 49 runs batted in, .238 in 1915. Smokey Joe Wood sets and fires the 2-1 to Niehoff. Niehoff cuts on this one, routine grounder to short. And up with it is Everett Scott. And he will fire on to Dick Blitzel for the 6-3 putout. One away here in the top of the third for Philadelphia. And it brings up old Pete Alexander. Managed a home run in 1915 with 8 runs batted in. Joe Wood deals the 2-0 to old Pete. Alexander swings, and this one a little seeing eye single into right field. So Alexander picking up the second hit for the Phillies in this game, and it brings up Possum Whitted. We're back at the top of the order. Whitted 0 for 1 in the game. Alexander with some speed at first. So this Boston battery of Hit Katie and Smokey Joe Wood will need to keep a good eye on Alexander. Wood winds and deals now. The 0-1. He grounded to short last time. Possum Whitted grounds to Scott this time, and they will not turn 2, however. So nice hard slide by Grover Cleveland Alexander will allow Possum Whitted to be on board. The fielder's choice. Possum Whitted, excellent speed at first. And here's Milt Stock now. Stock 0 for 1. 2 away here in the top of the third. 1-0 Red Sox. And there goes the runner, and they've got him nailed to right. So Hit Katie comes up a gunning, and that takes care of the Possum. Phillies get nothing on a hit, nobody left. We go to the bottom of the third inning, and still 1-0 Boston. As Big Clue says to Jackass Whiskey, yeah, but you're our kind of ass. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. You're all good. Joe Wood steps in the box now. Smokey Joe also managed a home run, and actually, no secret to those of you who know dead ball baseball, Smokey Joe Wood would have a couple years as a pitcher, one super dominant year, 1912, but would go on to be a fantastic position player. A home run and 7 runs batted in, and a .259 average in 1915 for the Boston Red Sox. Then we'll flip around to the top of the order, and Speaker and Larry Gardner. Alexander delivers to Joe Wood. Here it is, the 2-0. Smokey Joe swings, soft grounder to short. And taking it on the easy bounce is Dave Beauty Bancroft, and fires it on for the 6-3 putout of Smokey Joe. So 1 away here in the home half of the third inning, and back at the top of the order in the Gray Eagle, Tris Speaker. Speaker 1 for 1 today. Payoff pitch now to Speaker. Cut on, popped high on the infield, twisting toward the first base side foul, and dropping the ball. Should have been a nice easy catch, but Fred Luderis Just watching it bounce off the glove there. No webbing probably in that glove, or very little webbing. So that's going to be an error on the Phillies. Tris Speaker back in, and the 3-2 coming now from Alexander. Speaker swings. This one line to right, base hit. So that's Tris Speaker's second hit of the game. The key for these Philadelphia Phillies is going to try to keep Tris Speaker from getting around the bases or even getting on the bases. And here's Larry Gardner now. Gardner nothing for one. One away. Speaker with an aggressive lead at first. Killefer sets the target. Alexander with the 2-1. Gardner swings. Hard grounder to short. Is this going to be a 2-ball? It will not. Speaker takes out second baseman. So a fielder's choice, and Larry Gardner's aboard. 2 away for Duffy Lewis. Duffy Lewis nothing for one. Here's the delivery. Lewis swinging on the first pitch. Chopping grounder to third. Up with it, and over is Milt Stock with the putout. Duffy Lewis is retired. One error by Philadelphia. Boston doesn't cash in. Tris Speaker had a hit. We go to the top of the 4th inning, cranks and cranklets, and it's 1-0. So fun little fact about outfielders that Ken Castro probably knew that I didn't. In the dead ball era, is they were also called farmers, gardeners, and suburbanites. So I never ever knew that until very, very recently. So there you go. So we have too bad we don't have Larry Gardner out there as one of them. So we have a gardener, a farmer, and a suburbanite. So out there, learning all kinds of cool terms in the dead ball era I wasn't aware of. We are indeed a dysfunctional family. Absolutely. Junction, what's your function? Big Clue doing some grammar there for us, I think. All right. Or is he talking about the conjunction of planets? Only his hairdresser knows for sure, baseball fans, as Milt Stock comes to the plate. And remember, the Phillies and the Red Sox both use Lifebuoy. Smokey Joe Wood has yet to strike out a batter. Payoff pitch now to Milt Stock, who cuts on this one. Easy ground ball to short. And picked at short is Everett Scott, who fires on to Dick Blitzel for the 6-3 putout. 1 up, 1 down for the Phillies here in the top of the 4th. Game moving along at a pretty good pace as first baseman Fred Luderis steps in now. Luderis nothing for one. Here's the pitch. Luderis takes this first pitch and line to left. And this one is going to go bounce off the mail pouch tobacco sign out there in left field. And Luderis has himself a 1-out double. So the Phillies threatening now with the tying run on second base here. We'll of course do this. I love this Super Stats replay business. This is fun stuff. And there it goes. Nice liner. And, yep, right off the sign. Mail pouch tobacco. So, yeah, treat yourself to the finest. And he is in there. All right, so Fred Luderis at second. And here's Gabby Kravitz. A chance for Philadelphia, should Gabby Kravitz take it out of the yard, to take the lead here. Just 1 away. Luderis with a good leadoff second. It looks like Jack Berry might be shading him in a little bit here. Wood brings it. Here's the 0-1. Kravitz swings. Oh, this ball gets away. But good stop by Hick Cady. Looks like Cady and Wood might have gotten crossed up on the signs there. So the count 3-2 now to Gabby Kravitz. Big swing and a miss. So Smokey Joe Wood bringing a little bit of gas there to take care of the slugger Kravitz. 2 away now. Luderis remains in scoring position, and Beals Becker steps in. Becker, nothing for one. Joe Wood has the sign and the 0-1. Becker swings, and this one grounded deep to short, and up with it, a strong peg to first. Nice play by Everett Scott to retire the side. So the Philadelphia Phillies get a hit. They threaten, but do not score. And we go to the bottom of the 4th inning in Game 1 of the 1915 World Series. and it's the Boston Red Sox 1, the Philadelphia Phillies nothing. This would be the first World Series for the Philadelphia Phillies, and the last one until 1950. So we may do the 1950 World Series somewhere down the line. The other World Series I have on tap in Out of the Park Baseball is 1971. So hope you guys will enjoy that. Back into it. So I've got my everything switched up a little bit. So there we go. So Jackass Whiskey says he liked Copenhagen Chew years and years ago. Well, as I said, JT Dutch, I didn't bother. This may be coming off what I was talking about last night. I didn't worry about. That's why I'm calling this an alternate World Series replay. I'm not worrying about who was, who was in the rotation or anything like that. I just let the AI do it and just want to have fun with it. So it's a 1915 series that kind of never happened. But again, as we talked about last night, I mean, some people that would recreate this World Series, exactly as happened. And, all I have to do is go to Baseball Reference or Total Baseball or anything. But good catch, though, on your part. Absolutely. All right, to Blitzel, nothing for one here in the fourth. Alexander with the 0-1 delivery to Blitzel. Grounded out to Alexander last time up. And this time, look at this little two-hopper to third. This is going to be close at first. I think he's got it beat, and he does. How about it? So Dick Blitzel picking up the infield hit. That's the third Philadelphia, or the fourth. I'm all over the place because of this little zip here. Fourth hit for Boston. So look at just the regular replay on that. So let's look at that again. Looked like he might have tried to chop down on the ball, not sure. But definitely had it beat, so. Good hustle there by Dick Blitzel. And coming up now is Harry Hooper. Harry Hooper has a hit in as many tries today. Alexander deals. And Hooper showing bunt. Blitzel going to second, and sacrifice successful. So second time game that a sacrifice has been successful for these teams. So runner in scoring position now for the Boston Red Sox for catcher Hick Cady. Here's the wind and the 2-2 to Cady. Cady swings and he sends this one deep, high and deep to right, back toward the Jet Razor signs. This is going to be off the wall and coming in to score. Hick Cady going for three. The throw comes into the cutoff man. The head first slide, the tag, he gets in there. So Hick Cady picking up the RBI triple. Dick Blitzel scores, and the Red Sox now out to a 2-0. As JT Dutch kindly says, yep, it's a what if. Absolutely. So it might be fun to actually go and recreate one of these exactly game for game for game. I may do that someday, but I wouldn't hold my breath. I just have fun doing the what ifs. I don't know, man. I'm a weirdo. That being said, though, I do have actually going to do something weird. It's not going to be sort of slavishly doing every day as played, but I'm going to be doing, as I said last night, starting a 1934 replay, Gas House Gang, and occasionally we'll see some other teams playing as well. So most of that will be offline, but for those of you that might be interested in the Gas House Gang, I hope you enjoy the 1934 season replay that will be happening occasionally on this channel. I usually don't delve in too much to 1930s baseball, so this will be fun. All right, one away and one in here at the Boston fourth as Jack Berry strides to the plate. Blackjack has an RBI in this game. And Alexander deals the count even on Jack Berry, 2-2. And Jack Berry cuts right through this one. So a little sinker by Alexander will take care of Berry. Two away for shortstop Everett Scott now. Scott nothing for one against the great Pete Alexander. Here's the 0-1. Scott swings. This one a flare to right. This is going to hang up there. And in time, Gabby Crabb with 2 make the catch. 1 run on 2 hits, no errors, a runner left for the Boston Red Sox. We go to the top of the 5th. It's Boston 2, Philadelphia nothing. Stepping in now, Dave Beauty Bancroft. It's always raining in Copenhagen, Denmark, says Jackass Whiskey. Copenhagen is a cool. Denmark is such a great country, such a cool country. All right, Dave Bancroft. Now they get a lot more rain than where I lived over there in the 2 countries. They get a lot more. I should say they get a lot more snow in Copenhagen than they did in Rotterdam and Belfast. All right, Smokey Joe Wood has struck out 1. Bancroft 1 for 1 in the game. The 0-2 to Dave Beauty Bancroft. Swung on and missed. So Bancroft goes down on strikes. 1 down here in the top of the 5th for Bill Killefer. The Rabbit nothing for 1. Wood delivers the 2-2. Killefer swings right through this one. Smokey Joe Wood has now fanned 3, starting to find his groove here in the 5th. And Bert Niehoff will come in and have a try against Smokey Joe. Wood working on a 3-hit shutout right now. He deals. Niehoff swings in his first pitch. Hard ground ball to short, up with it, and in plenty of time to Everett Scott to take it. So 1-2-3 go the Phillies. And we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. The score remains Boston 2, Philadelphia nothing. Smokey Joe Wood will lead it off, followed by Tris Speaker and Larry Gardner. Smokey Joe waits for the Alexander delivery. Here's the 1-2. Wood, big swing and a miss. So Alexander gets him on the changeup, and that's his 3rd strikeout of the game. Got to think Smokey Joe Wood, had his arm stayed as amazing as it would and remain as dominant, we'd be thinking of Smokey Joe Wood as a Hall of Famer. Certainly nobody can deny that Smokey Joe Wood was a great player, but what could have been, right? All right, here is Tris Speaker. Walter Johnson said that nobody threw harder than Smokey Joe Wood, and that is high praise from the great Walter Johnson. Tris Speaker, perfect day at the plate today. He is 2 for 2. Alexander sets and fires. The 1-1 to Speaker. Speaker swings. This one line to center, and this is going to get down, and playing it on the bounce is Possum Whitted. So great story about Tris Speaker and the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania that we will get into later on in this World Series. I think it's a lot of fun. So stay tuned for that one. Some legal fun stuff. Larry Gardner now in the box. Larry Gardner nothing for 2. Tris Speaker, big lead off first. Here's the wind and the delivery by Alexander. And Speaker is off to the races, and they got him dead to rights. So great throw by Rabbit Bill Killefer to get the eminently speedy Tris Speaker for out number 2. So Gardner now back in the box. The lefty batting now with the bases empty. Alexander lets it go. The 1-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. And that is number 4. So Boston picks up a hit, and there's a caught stealing. We go to the top of the 6th inning. It's the Boston Red Sox 2, the Philadelphia Phillies nothing, and this alternate what-if replay of the 1915 World Series. Grover Cleveland Alexander will lead it off here for the Phillies in the visitors' half of the 6th at 3-year-old Fenway Park, and then Possum Whitted and milked stock. Joe Wood deals. Here's the 3-1. And Alexander, a little slow roller to third. He's going to beat this out. Infield single for Pete Alexander. So how about that? Alexander picks up the 4th hit, an infield shot. So Alexander 2 for 2 at the plate today, actually. Possum Whitted now. We're back at the top of the order. Nothing for 2. Wood's delivery. Wood swings, holds up, come up gunning and throwing down, and has getting the stolen base, believe it or not, is Grover Cleveland Alexander. He's saying, look, we're being shut out. So Alexander in there with a successful steal. A runner now in scoring position and nobody out for the Philadelphia Phillies. So they squandered a chance before to get on the board. See what they could do here as Possum Whitted back in the box in the 0-1 delivery. Whitted swings, routine grounder to first, and this will be taken 3 unassisted by Dick Blitzel. Grover Alexander moves to third, so 1 away. The Philadelphia Phillies getting a chance to cut this Boston lead in half as Milt Stock steps in, nothing for 2. Joe Wood works from the stretch in the 0-1. Milt Stock swings, base hit, left field, and Alexander will come in to score. Grover Cleveland Alexander really manufacturing that run for the Phillies. Big boos going up here in Boston. Michael Nuffsaid McGreevy in the ballpark with the Royal Rooters, along with John Honey Fitzgerald. And yes, Ned McGreevy's real first name, Michael. So what a good Irish name it is. Michael Ned McGreevy. It'll be after you for your lady now, bio. Don't be a gobshite and a wanker. Steve Tate, working late and now get to enjoy the game while you work. Excellent, man. Welcome in, Steve. Good to see you. I'm going to be doing a couple different teams. One of them, the Cardinals, JT Dutch, even though they did win, I know not much of a challenge. I'm playing it for fun because the 1934 Cardinals are one of my favorite teams. So it's partially to see can I do as well. But I'm also going to be the Tigers, a few other teams, just playing some different ones for the season. So it's not necessarily just a one team. I'm just managing one team through 1934. But that will be the team I manage most because I really like the 1934 Cardinals. And Steve Tate and I have to continue our Cardinals-Tigers series. In our head-to-head baseball, we are even, I believe, against each other, so good stuff. Steve's team doing well in the Howie Shanks League, but don't count Mudville out just yet, son. Milt Stock, good speed at first here for Philadelphia. 1 down, 1 in. Fred Luderis now the first baseman for the Phils. He's 1 for 2. Smokey Joe Wood sets and deals to Fred Luderis. He doubled back in the fourth. Luderis swings. Ground ball to second. Looks like they're going to turn 2. They will not. Fielder's choice. So Jack Barry makes the flip onto second for 1. So no relay made by Everett Scott. And Luderis aboard 2 down for Gavy Kravitz now. Slugger nothing for 2. So just as it will be key for the Philadelphia Phillies to keep Tris Speaker off the bases, they've got to keep this big bat of Gavy Kravitz quiet. Again, in 1915, hit 24 home runs. Rated with a very, very good eye, good contact, good power. Kravitz, one of the early sluggers in baseball. Wood deals. And there goes the runner, and they got him dead to rights. Fred Luderis is caught stealing to end the inning. So Philadelphia does pick up a run on 2 hits, no errors. Nobody left on thanks to caught stealing. Could have done more. I think the Philadelphia manager taking the bat out of Kravitz's hands there. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning here in 1915, and it's the Red Sox 2 and the Philadelphia Phillies 1. As JT Dutch says, I suspect it would be a great pennant race in 1934 between the Gas House Gang and Bill Terry's New York Giants. Oh yeah, absolutely. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. Yeah, I'd like to, Steve. So Steve off to vacation. So hopefully, yeah, next week is. I don't start my new employment until the 27th of the month. So I will have plenty of time once you get back. I'm looking forward to some head-to-head, man. And let's get Shanks 2-0 over, and then we get to Shanks 3-0, which will be a lot of fun. I'm not going to be taking a team in this one, but I would like to continue to broadcast some games, if that's all right with you guys. All right, Duffy Lewis now to lead it off here in the bottom of the 6th for the Boston Red Sox. Dick Blitzel and Harry Hooper, so the number 3, 4, 5 hitters in the Boston lineup. Alexander has struck out 4 through 5 innings of work. Here's the 2-2 pitch now to Duffy Lewis. Duffy Lewis swings line to right and right into the glove of Gabby Kravitz for out number 1. Kravitz actually had it played perfectly there. Dick Blitzel now in there. I hope you guys enjoyed that sneak doubleheader we did of Diamond Mine last night while Aaron and I were talking. Maybe that's the way I can sneak Diamond Mine baseball onto the channel. All right, Dick Blitzel now. He is 1 for 2. Alexander Pierzin has the sign from Rabbit Bill Killefer. Here is the 1-2 pitch. The Blitzel cuts on this one. Little 2-bounder to first. And taking it to himself is Fred Luteris, who will gently tap on the first sack for out number 2. Harry Hooper 1 for 1. Boston fans looking for Harry to contribute in this series. Alexander sets and delivers the 0-2 to the Boston right fielder. Hooper swings. This one just a lazy fly ball into shallow center field, and that's going to hang up long enough there for Bills Becker to camp under it, light a marshmallow, and inning over, nothing across for the Boston Red Sox as we head to the 7th inning here in Game 1 of this alternate 1915 World Series. It's the Boston Red Sox 2 and the Philadelphia Phillies 1. Due up now, Gabby Kravitz. Gabby Kravitz was at bat when Fred Luteris was gunned down by Hick Cady. Dave Gardner, welcome in, man. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, Dave. Before, when I'd be working with, or talking with Steve, or people saying it was too soft, so I think I do need to pick up a good one. Anyhow, Dave, welcome in. Good to see you. So, sorry for the distortion, guys. Just working with what I work, and right now it's 10:13 p.m. Nowhere to get a new mic tonight, but I will work on it. Thank you, Dave. All right, Gabby Kravitz. Check out, guys. I know we did it a few weeks ago, but it was sort of last night we did that about replays versus what ifs. Check out Dave's excellent broadcast on Is It Okay to Not Like a Game. There's more to that than just the title, and I think you guys will really enjoy it. Check out, please subscribe to Dave Gardner's wrestling channel, long time stalwart of the community. All right, so Kravitz in the box now. Joe Wood peers in, has the sign from Hick Cady. Here's the 2-1 delivery. Kravitz struck out his last time up, and this one a long fly ball to deep left field, and this one is history. This one just inside the foul pole. Gabby Kravitz ties the game here in the top of the 7th, so we are 9. Talked about it, Luteris being caught stealing, taking the bat out of his hand. Yep, Kravitz gets his money worth on this one. Touch them all, Gabby Kravitz. So taking a little bit of artistic license here in 1915. Becker now, 0-2. 2-2 your score, nobody out. Joe Wood deals to the lefty, the 1-1 pitch. Becker shows bunt, and Wood up with it off from the right of the mound, and Becker's going to have himself an infield bunt single. So the Philadelphia Phillies now mounting a bit of offense here, tying it up. That's the 7th hit for the Philadelphia Phillies. Tate says, oh, I can hear the game sounds now. Barely meet. So, guys, I really don't know what to do. I'm just, doing the best I can. So, it's either it's too hot for some, not hot enough for others. Just try a better mic. try to pick one up. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys. Besides, not hearing my voice might be a good thing. I have no idea. I know I get tired of hearing it. Beals Becker on at first now. Nobody out for Dave Bancroft. Beauty Bancroft 1 for 2. Beals Becker with an aggressive leadoff first. Smokey Joe Wood with the check of the runner. Comes home with it. And off to the races is Becker. And Becker picks up the steal in scoring position. Philadelphia coming alive here in the 7th. Bancroft back in the box. Beals Becker eyeing third base now. Joe Wood brings it. And this one, they're decided to intentionally walk Beauty Bancroft. So 2 aboard for the Philadelphia Phillies, and they're going to pitch to Rabbit Killefer. Killefer is 0-2. Joe Wood sets and delivers. Killefer shows bunt on the first pitch. Wood's only play will be the first. So perfectly executed sacrifice to move the runners up. 2 in scoring position now for Philadelphia, and 1 run in here in the 7th. And Dode Paskert will come in to pinch hit now for the Philadelphia Phillies. Paskert with a .244 average in 1915 with 3 home runs. Okay, so I have no idea, guys. You know what? Dave says it's too hot. Others are saying, I don't know what to do about it, guys. Just, yeah, I'll try to work on it tomorrow. Yeah, try and work on it tomorrow. I can probably do something with the game sounds, though. Bring it back. That I can do. Just bring the crowd volume down just a little bit. Yeah, and that's already set at the default, so wow, pretty crazy. Let's take it down to 90. All right, and let's go back to the game. We'll see. And for some bizarre reason, what do we have here? We have infield in trying to cut off the run. So Beals Becker at third. Wow, this feels really weird with the crowd volume way down. Ugh, don't like it. And Dave Bancroft at second. Here's the delivery to Dode Paskert. Full count. And draws the walk. So Smokey Joe Wood missing with the hammer there, and the bases are loaded with 1 out. That's the second walk issued by Smokey Joe Wood. Could be falling apart a little bit here. And here is Pete Alexander. Alexander, a perfect 2 for 2 today. Smokey Joe Wood looking to get that double play, but infield trying to cut off the run at the plate. So Beals Becker at third, Dave Bancroft at second, Dode Paskert at first. Speed all the way around, 1 out. Great chance for Philadelphia to break this game open right here. Speeding up on a base hit to score at least Bancroft and Becker and get Paskert to third. Smokey Joe Wood from the stretch and the 2-1 delivery. Alexander swings. Could this be his third base hit? This is going to hang up there in center field long enough for Trispeaker to make the catch. Trispeaker getting that ball quickly, coming in fast on it. So bases remain loaded, and now Possum Witted needs to get a base hit to try to break this time. Philadelphia tying it on the Gabby Brown home run here in the 7th. Nothing for 3, however, for Philadelphia center field. Wood again from the stretch in the 1-2 to Witted. Grounded out last time. This one a flare to right, and that will end the inning. It's Harry Hooper. It's a 7th inning stretch. They're tied 2. We are back to game action here, and Katie will lead it off here for Boston in the bottom of the 7th. Katie 1 for 1 with a run batted in. Alexander, 4 strikeouts in 6 innings of work. OP delivers. And Katie with an RBI triple this time. Just an easy ground ball to third. And Milk Stott could have taken all day to make that put out. So 5-3, 1 down for Blackjack Barry, who has an RBI in the game. Nothing for 2. Alexander with the 1-0 delivery to Barry. Barry cuts on this one. This one should hang up there in center field long enough for it to land into Possum Whittett's glove, and indeed it does. So 2 up, 2 down for the Boston Red Sox here in the bottom of the 7th, and shortstop Everett Scott. You always pronounce his Gravy Kravitz. That's funny. All right, again, apologies for the sound issues, guys. Really sorry about that. Kind of hard to fix it at this point, but we'll work on it. Thank you to Dave, to everybody else for calling my attention to it. Killefer sets the target. Here is the 1-0 delivery. Everett Scott swings, and this one, chopping ground ball to third. And Milt Stock having a nice easy timeout at third as the Red Sox go quietly, and we go to the 8th, and we are knotted at 2. Milt Stock, Fred Luteris, and Gabby Kravitz will bat here for Philadelphia in the top of the 8th. Smokey Joe Wood, 3 strikeouts, 2 walks. He's worked 7. As World's Worst Gamer says, I can't believe I just kept my starting pitcher, kept in your starting pitcher to go 15 runs, 11-run first inning, and lost 21-8. The pitcher was Ray Phelps of the 1930 Brooklyn Robins. Joe Wood deals the 0-1. I think his arm has fallen off by now. How about it? RBI single for Stock back in the 6th, and this one just a routine fly ball to center field, shallow center field, and Tris Speaker will make the play. 1 away here. Fred Luteris 1 for 3 and a caught stealing. Smokey Joe Wood deals to Luteris, who grounded out his last time up. Luteris swings, and this is going to be a Texas leaguer to right field. So coming down on the bounce to Harry Hooper, and that's the 8th Philadelphia hit. And coming to the plate is Gabby Kravitz. Now, the last time these two guys were on the diamond together offensively, Luteris was gunned down stealing, and in the next inning, Kravitz goes yard. So let's see what Philadelphia, maybe not sending Fred Luteris this time. Smokey Joe Wood deals. Here is the 1-1 pitch. The runner does not go this time. Kravitz swings, harmless grounder to second, and they will not turn 2. Luteris is gunned down at second. The leap of Everett Scott over Luteris, and the throw not in time. So Kravitz aboard on the fielder's choice, and it brings up Beals Becker now with 2 away. And there goes Gabby Kravitz, and he is gunned down. So no runs, 1 hit, no errors. And we go to the bottom of the 8th, and we are still knotted at 2 in this game 1. Smokey Joe Wood will lead it off here, followed by Tris Speaker and Larry Gardner for the Scarlet Hose here. Nice crowd here today at Fenway Park. Great, wonderful facilities. We hear up here in the press box that someone named Charles Hercules Ebbets is considering buying some land in a section of Brooklyn, and is hoping to build a ballpark out there. Certainly will not rival our own Fenway Park, I am sure. So this Charles Hercules Ebbets fellow, probably just an upstart in that National League. Killefer sets the target now as Wood is in the box. Here's the wind and the delivery to Smokey Joe Wood. And hey, modern music coming back here to 1915. And this one grounded to second, easy grounder to second. And so we have a substitution in there at second now. So Oscar Doogie will be playing second base here for the Philadelphia Phillies. Yep, Ebbets, I know that. I was just having a sort of little kind of joke there. But yes, Ebbets Field opens 1913. Of course, 1909, the beginning of the modern steel ballparks, Shibe Park first, then Forbes, and then they started all opening like crazy, including the one we're attending today. Ebbets went into a great debt to build his ballpark. I mean, you think about it, it was a lot of money. At the time, I don't know if that would be adjusted $23, $700,000 to build Ebbets Field. And some great baseball played in that ballpark, to be sure. The Gray Eagle now, we're back at the top of the order, one away. Tris Speaker, a perfect 3 for 3 today. Alexander deals the 0-2 to Speaker. Cut on, line to center, and rushing in hard on this ball and making a nice catch is Possum Wooded. So center fielder flies out to center fielder for the second out of the home half of the 8th. And Larry Gardner now. Third baseman, nothing for 3. Alexander wheels and deals to Larry Gardner. 2 down, and Gardner lines this to right. This one's going to get to the corner for extra bases. Gardner's going to at least get 2 out of this one. Gardner chugging for 3, and they're going to flash the stop sign. Gardner could have easily had a triple. They're going to hold him at second with 2 down. So Boston with a runner in scoring position, perhaps wanting to let Duffy Lewis get the go-ahead run to come in here in the bottom of the 8th. But Gardner was well on his way, but Kravitz, pretty considerable arm out there in the right pasture. But Gardner holding there now at second. Alexander deals. Duffy Lewis swings, and this is going to be a 2-hopper to short. And this should end the inning as Beauty Bancroft has it, fires on to first. So the Boston Red Sox lead 1 in scoring position. And we head to the 9th inning here in Game 1 of the 1915 World Series as Mark Roberts is here at the park. So we have JT Dutch right above him. So we have 2 Dodgers logos here at Fenway Park in 1915. Of course, they wouldn't be the Dodgers back then, but at least officially. But welcome in, Mark. Good to see you. All right, Beals Becker will lead it off here. Then Beauty Bancroft and Rabbit Killefer. Stay tuned, Cousin Ken. If you're still around, we'll be switching to Action PC Baseball for the battle between the 1885 White Stockings and the 1894 Orioles. That one's been a war, so that's coming up next. Joe Wood delivers to Bill Becker. Here is the 0-1. Struck out his last time up, and this time, Beals Becker is plunked by Smokey Joe Wood. Beals Becker kind of glaring over at Smokey Joe. Smokey Joe Wood, just complete indifference on his face as he concentrates on the sign from Hick Cady. Bancroft waits. Becker, good speed at first. Nobody out. 2-2 your score in the top of the 9th. Game 1 of the World Series. The 1-2. And the runner goes. And this one looks like it's not going to make the gap. And picking it up there in center field is Tris Speaker. And the hard throw back in the first. And the runner just does get back. So Speaker almost doubling off the speedy Beals Becker. Ed Burns will now assume pinch hitting duties here from the Philadelphia Phillies, hitting .241 in 1915. He batted in 16, so in 174 at-bats. Becker leads off first. Joe Wood with a 3-1 delivery to Ed Burns. Burns looks at ball 4. This fastball missing low. So 2 aboard for Philadelphia. And that will bring up Oscar Doogie. So Doogie came into pinch hit, or Doogie comes in to play second base, I'm sorry. Still kind of worrying about this mic thing right here. So Doogie hit just 154, saw limited action in 1915 for the Philadelphia Phillies, just 39 at-bats. You got to remember, back at this time, these teams weren't carrying the size of rosters that we think of now. Usually you would have maybe literally a 15-man roster and maybe just 3 pitchers, 4 if you were lucky. Joe Wood deals. And this one bunted down the first base line, and it's going to be a good one. So the sacrifice successful Doogie getting the bunt down, and the runners move up. So Bills Becker at third, Ed Burns at second. And here's Grover Cleveland Alexander. He is 2 for 3. He would like to help his own cause one more time as we get lots of exclamation points. People greeting people. Smokey Joe from the stretch. Speaker flied out his last time, or Alexander flied out his last time up, and high fly ball to center, and making the catch is Tris Speaker. So the Philadelphia threat goes by the board, and we go to the bottom of the 9th inning, and we are knotted at 2. And remember, Philadelphia historically wins this first game and loses the next 4. And striding to the plate is the kid from Baltimore, Babe Ruth. So Babe Ruth with 4 home runs, 21 ribbies in 1915, and a .315 average. We will see Babe Ruth, I believe, pitching either in Game 2 or Game 3. I can't remember right now. Alexander ready to face the Busher. Here's the 1-2 delivery to Babe Ruth. Ruth cutting a miss, and that is a strikeout. So Alexander getting Babe Ruth. This is his first full year. Gets him on the changeup. So strikeout number 5 for Alexander, and here comes Harry Hooper, who is 1 for 2. Alexander works now, the 3-2 pitch. Hooper swings. This one a little flare to right, rushing in hard, and this ball hanging up there just enough for Gabby Kravitz to make the catch. So 2 away here, and here's Dutch Leonard. Dutch Leonard called to pinch hit now for the Boston Red Sox. Jack Berry waiting on deck. .264 average for Dutch Leonard. He batted in 3 in 1915 for the Boston Red Sox. Jackass Whiskey says he had Kravitz on the Senators team. He led in walks and was solid around a .250 batting average, but wanted $5,000 a year. I declined. He did have 2 Gold Gloves, so I guess he went on and began his illustrious legal career, I presume. So Jackass Whiskey, a big fan of Baseball Mogul, and a fine game it is. A fine game it is. Often wondered, Jackass, so do you play with financials in that game as well? And if you do, what are your pretzel and beer prices? Alexander works with 2 down to Dutch Leonard. And Dutch Leonard, easy grounder to third. He could beat this out. Nope, close play at first, but they get Leonard by, and that's Eyelash. And we have extras. And another note to self, I need to get rid of that stupid sample in the game from Kiss. Besides the fact that I hate Kiss, it just doesn't fit in 1915. All right, Possum Whitted will lead it off here as we go into extra innings. Top of the 10th, knotted at 2. As I have another stogie. Smokey Joe Wood has walked 3, struck out 3. And he deals to Whitted. Whitted lined out to Hooper's last time up. And this one, hard hit ball to center field. This one back and over the head of Tris Speaker, and Whitted will pull into second, leadoff double for the Philadelphia Phillies. Speaker with incredible range, playing shallow there in center field, as he was wont to do. Unable to get to that ball. And Possum Whitted now in scoring position, a chance for Milt Stock to get the go-ahead run for the Philadelphia 9. Kerrigan sets the target. Joe Wood with a check of Whitted at second. Here it comes. Milt Stock gets the bunt down. It's a good one. Joe Wood's play will be to first. So Possum Whitted moves to third on the sacrifice. Can the Philadelphia Phillies get this go-ahead run and then hold on? Top of the 10th inning action here in Game 1, 1915. Kerrigan sets the target. Joe Wood working from the stretch, and the 1-0 to Fred Luderis. Luderis 2 for 4 in the game. Grounded to second. They're going to come home, and they got him. It's a great play, great heads-up play by Jack Berry at second to get Possum Whitted, who was off on the pitch. So Philadelphia playing aggressively. It does not pay off. Fred Luter is aboard at first. And here is Gabby Kravitz with a solo home run in this game. A little bit of a shift left for Gabby Kravitz as Joe Wood delivers the 1-2. Grounded out last time, and he's going to ground out this time. Ground ball to second base, and up with it is Jack Berry. He'll throw to first, and side is retired. So Philadelphia, with Possum Whitting being gunned out at home by Jack Berry, failed to do anything. They leave one, and we go to the bottom of the 10th inning, and we'll have some changes here. We are knotted at 2. So Olaf Henriksen, who we've seen in our Action PC work, will pinch hit here. And as we look around beautiful Fenway Park, I see no other defensive change. Yes, I do, actually. So Ed Burns now into catch for Philadelphia. Actually, Ed Burns has been in for a little while. So Henriksen with a 196 average, 13 runs batted in, limited playing time with the Red Sox, mostly in a pinch hitting role, 92 at bats during the 1915 season for Henriksen. Over Cleveland Alexander with 5 strikeouts through 9 innings of work, the 1-2 delivery. Henriksen swings, this one soft fly ball to left field, and that will be a can of corn for Beals Becker for out number 1. So Hal Janvrin will now pinch hit for the Boston Red Sox. Janvrin in the 1915 regular season, 269 average, 37 home runs. Dumb base running, absolutely, Cousin Ken. 1908, beer, pretzels, and ice cream cost 3 cents. Tickets are 8 cents. So, as Jackass Whiskey says, he's trying to build a new ballpark. Alexander deals to Janvrin. Here is the 0-2. Janvrin swings, soft fly ball to center field, and straight out extension on that catch. Possum Whitted doing his best Tris Speaker imitation, and that is 2 down. Let's have a look at that one again. And picks it off a tall blade of grass. So 2 down here in the Boston 10th for Smokey Joe Wood, who was 0 for 3. Alexander ready to fire it in. The 1-2 pitch to Smokey Joe. Wood swings, and this one could be gapped to right, but covering a lot of range out there in right field is Gabby Kravitz to retire the side. So the Boston Red Sox go in order, and we will head to the 11th, and we are still knotted at 2 in this game 1. That I hope, despite the sound issues, people are having fun, maybe rolling up a game. Either turn down your monitors or televisions, or up as maybe. Thank you for hanging out for a little bit. Do appreciate it. All right, it'll be Beals Becker, Dave Bancroft, and Ed Burns for the Philadelphia Phillies here in the 11th. Joe Wood with a 1-2 delivery to Beals Becker, who was plunked by a pitch back in the 9th. Becker, liner to third. This one sort of dying in the infield dirt, but Larry Gardner making the nice throw to first to retire the speedy Becker for out number 1. Beauty Bancroft now 1 for 3. And the left-hand side of the batter's box, Joe Wood with a 2-1 to Bancroft. Flied out to center his last time up. He swings, and this one just a little soft liner into center field. Base hit, and Philadelphia picking up hit number 10 in the game. The Royal Rooters leading a throaty roar of disapproval as Bancroft stands out there at first base. The voices of Fitzgerald and McGreevy in a crescendo above the rest as Ed Burns comes in now, making his first plate appearance in this World Series. Joe Wood fires it in to Ed Burns. Here's the 0-1. And This is going to be a double play. They will turn to the 6-4 double play starting by Jandron. And that will be the double play retiring the side. Phillies get a hit, and we go to the bottom of the 11th. And my apologies, that was actually Ed Burns' second plate appearance in the game. He walked his last time up. Tris Speaker leads it off here for Boston. The number 1, 2, 3 hitters: Speaker, Gardner, and Duffy Lewis. Tris Speaker 3 for 4. Here's the wind and the 3-2 pitch. And Speaker draws the walk. Yeah, definitely got to take away these stupid sound samples. All right. So Larry Gardner now bats. I forgot that Adel Park even had these things. It's been a while since I played this game. But that's all right. All right, Speaker aggressively at first. Alexander deals to Larry Gardner. And there goes Tris Speaker, and up and gunning. And Tris Speaker is off to the races, and he is off the field. So throw by Ed Burns, guns down. Speaker, bases empty, 1 away. Gardner back in the box. The 1-1 pitch to Larry Gardner. Gardner swings. This one, high fly ball, center field. And camping under and waiting for it to make its descent into the glove is Pasquale. So 2 away now with a fly out in the caught stealing. That brings up Duffy Lewis. Nothing for 4 for him. Alexander, the payoff pitch to Duffy Lewis. Grounded out his last time up. Duffy Lewis swings. This one lined into the gap and right. No, it is not. So charging off to his right and making a fine running catch, Gabby Kravis. So Boston gets nothing done in the 11th. We go to the 12th here in Game 1 of the 1915 alternate World Series. We're knotted at 2. Oscar Doogie, Grover Alexander, and Possum Wood do up for the Philadelphia Phillies. So hopefully Cousin Ken enjoying this World Series, doing it mainly for him. This is not one of the storied World Series, to be sure, but it'd be fun to see if Philadelphia can make it a World Series, unlike the actual 1915 World Series. And it's always good to see both Smokey Joe Wood and Grover Cleveland Alexander pitching. Ken Castro says, love it. Thank you, cousin. Appreciate it. Smokey Joe Wood has worked 11 innings thus far. 3 strikeouts, 3 walks. In fact, in the book that I'm writing, it's reading right now, Smokey Joe Wood is quoted in the book as saying that it was looked upon as disgraceful for a pitcher not to finish what he started. Could you imagine somebody saying that today in 2023 baseball? Joe Wood delivers the 2-1 pitch now to Oscar Doogie. Sacrifice bunt for Oscar Doogie last time, and this time liner to left, but ranging to his right a little bit as Duffy Lewis had him played perfectly. So 1 up, 1 down for Grover Cleveland Alexander, 2 for 4. So he would like to pick up something here. Philadelphia leading Boston 10-7 to hits. Also 1 error to nothing for Philadelphia. Tied 2-2. Joe Wood delivers to his mound opponent. Here it comes. And Alexander swings, flare to right. Will this get down? Yes, it will. Right into Harry Hooper's glove. So 2 quick outs here in the Philadelphia 12th, and we're back at the top of the order. And center fielder Possum Whitted, who is 1 for 5. Joe Wood with a 2-1 delivery to Whitted. Doubled back in the 10th. Whitted swings, and this one a Texas leaguer to right, but again, the wind catching this ball, and it will stay up, and Harry Hooper will haul it in for out number 3. The Philadelphia Phillies go in order. We go to the bottom of the 12th, and we are knotted at 2. Umpires at this point not worrying about impending darkness, which of course, as you guys know, was a thing. Most dead ball games would actually start maybe 3 to 3:30 in the afternoon. And so games were of course called in darkness, but there was a famous game called because of impending darkness, and that was going into the 1930s, believe it or not. Read about the Gabby Hartnett home run, for instance. So Del Gaynor will lead it off here for the Boston Red Sox. Gaynor in 1915 a .295 average with a home run, 29 runs batted in. Alexander ready to fire it. Here it comes, 2-1. Gaynor cuts on this one, sinking liner to left, and coming in is Beals Becker. So that is out number 1 here in the bottom of the 12th. And here's Harry Hooper, who is 1 for 3. The 1-2 pitch to the right fielder. Hooper cuts on this one. Grounder deep to short. Oh, that was almost an error. But nice recovery by Beauty Bancroft to retire Hooper for out number 2. Looked like Bancroft for a moment wasn't going to keep control of that ball, but nice, beautiful recovery there. And here is a name that maybe cousin Ken Castro knows, but I do not. Pinch hitting is Pinch Thomas for the Boston Red Sox. 21 runs batted in 1915 for the Sox, a .236 average. He 203 at bats for Pinch Thomas. Might have to look up Pinch Thomas, see if he ever actually had a career. Alexander deals. Here's the 0-2 to Thomas. Thomas swings. High fly ball to left field and going back about 5 steps. Now coming in a few bases and making the catch in left field is Beals Becker. So the Red Sox go 1-2-3 and we go to lucky 13. Not at a 2. So Ken Castro says he knows that he only knows about Pinch Thomas because he was in card set. Yes, Fitzgerald's nickname was indeed Honey Fitz, grandfather of John F. Kennedy, and along with Michael McGreevy, Royal Rooters. How about it? So as you guys know, Ken Casey of the Dropkick Murphys had did a perfect, or almost perfect, of course you had modern ADA accommodation of Ned McGreevy's, Enough said McGreevy's third base saloon. Unfortunately, due to COVID, it was closed down, never reopened, but it was 1,500 steps from Fenway Park. Of course, Ken Casey, a big hockey and baseball fan of the awesome Dropkick Murphys. They actually did everything, had pictures of McGreevy's saloon and everything, and unfortunately a victim of COVID. Don't know whether Ken Casey has any plans of reopening the third base saloon, but that would be certainly something be fun to visit in Boston. So for those of you who may have been to the third base saloon, I'd be interested to know what the experience was like. It had to have been fun. All this great, wonderful memorabilia that Casey had all through the bar and everything, and just looked really cool. All right, anyhow, Milt Stock is 1 for 4. Pinch Thomas now catching. Sets the target for Smokey Joe Wood, who is even in strikeouts and walks at 3. Here's the 1-0 to Milt Stock. Milt Stock sacrificed back in the 10th. Stock swings, and this is going to be a grounder deep to short, and fielding it from the shallow outfield grass is Hal Janbrin to make the 6-3 put out to retire Milt Stock for out number 1 here in the visitors' half of the 13th inning. Fred Luderis 2 for 5 in the game, and there now for the Quakers. Joe Wood delivers the 2-0. Luderis grounded out back in the 10th. Cut on, and this one grounded to third. Room service bounce at third for Larry Gardner, who makes the putout. 5-3 for 2 down, and here is Gavin Kravitz. 1 for 5, but it was a big one. Solo shot for Kravitz back in the 7th. Joe Wood deals. Kravitz swings. Just an easy grounder to third. Should be no problem. A bit of a low throw there by Larry Gardner, but still in plenty of time. The Phils once again go in order, and we go to the bottom of the 13th inning, and Heine Wagner gets tapped to pinch hit here for the Boston Red Sox. Wagner hit 240 with 29 runs batted in, and 267, or I'm sorry, 240 average, 29 runs batted in, 267 at bats for the 1915 Boston Red Sox. Alexander ready to go. Here is the 2-2 pitch to Heine Wagner. Wagner swings. This one could get down, running in hard and making a catch in center field is Possibility. So one away here in the 13th, and here's Hal Janvrin. Janvrin, nothing for one. Smokey Joe Wood is indeed a great name. How about it? Jackass Whiskey says, Baseball Mogul, Pittsburgh released Hannes Wagner in 1905. You signed him in 1906. Wow. That's kind of funny the way that works out. Wagner would actually refuse. He would always work with Barney Dreyfuss. Reading a lot about Barney Dreyfuss, and as much as we hear about the robber barons in Pittsburgh. So after the 1903, the inaugural Modern World Series, Pittsburgh lost. The generosity of Barney Dreyfuss, the losing Pittsburgh Pirates actually got larger winning shares per player than the victorious Boston Red Sox, which of course the Boston owner did not like at all and instituted a law in baseball that you couldn't have that sort of extra pay by the owner. So the Red Sox win the series, and the Bucks made better bank in 1903. A little bit of trivia for you there. Barney Dreyfuss, in fact, one other little note from that 1903 World Series, he bet heavily, of course, on his own Pittsburgh Pirates. They lost, still gave the players a huge bonus despite his players. Players loved Barney Dreyfuss, and he literally begged Dreyfuss to just deduct from their World Series share, and Dreyfuss refused to do it, paid his bill, and paid his players well. And again, his relationship with Hannes Wagner. Dreyfuss was one of the I don't know, among the most pernicious. He was among the least pernicious owners. Of course, the Pirates. Also, Barney Dreyfuss, first guy to do the idea of the tarp on the infield. But Dreyfuss also refused to do a game, or refused to. It was in 1902, a game against the Brooklyn Superbas, and Exposition Park had been flooded, and so Dreyfuss could be a jerk and absolutely refused to cancel the game. And apparently there was water by all kinds of newspaper accounts on that day in 1902, about a foot deep out in the field. So Forbes Field was designed and had one of the first modern drainage systems. So, but I think Dreyfuss learned from the little fiasco in that game in 1902, and the Pirates absolutely ran away. I think they finished something like 14 games ahead of the Brooklyn Superbas, but fun stuff. Alexander deals. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Hal Janvrin. One out, flied out to center, and Janvrin flies to center this time, and ranging to his left and making the catch in center field on that little knuckling ball is Possibility. So 2 away for Boston, and Smokey Joe Wood will try to get something done. He is nothing for 4 as John DFW joins us here at Fenway Park. Welcome in, John. Alexander with a full count pitch to Smokey Joe Wood, and the stupid sound sample going off again. Wood cuts and misses, and that does it. So the Red Sox go in order, and we have us a pitching duel here now as we head to the top of the 14th inning. And it's kind of a funny thing. I don't know. Yeah, no ghost runners at second base in this game. So I don't know whether it's because I haven't. It always seems like when I go back to a game I haven't played in a long time, it almost is invariably the case that the game will go into extra innings. So here we are into the 14th. And that will bring up Beals and Becker. Dave Bancroft and Ed Burns for the Philadelphia Phillies. Wood with the 1-2 delivery is Beals Becker. Grounded out his last time up. Becker swings. Flare into center and coming in on it and making the catch as you would expect. Tris Speaker for out number 1. Bancroft 2 for 2 or 2 for 4. Smokey Joe Wood and Grover Cleveland Alexander have been unrelenting. There's been no scoring since the top of the 7th. Joe Wood deals. Here is the 1-0. Bancroft singled his last time up, and this time flares to left and coming in hard on this ball and making it catch is Duffy Lewis. As Lewis calls off Speaker to make the putout. So 2 down here for catcher Ed Burns. Burns nothing for 1. 3-1 pitch now to Burns. Grounded out to Janvrin last time. Burns swings, and this one line to left, and this is going to get down. Base hit in the corner off the Texaco and mail pouch sign. And Ed Burns has himself a 2-out double. So Philadelphia has squandered a couple opportunities in this game. A chance here to go ahead as Oscar Doogie walks to the plate. He has nothing for 1. Woods checks Burns at second. Not a real threat to steal, but decent speed on the base paths nonetheless. Here is the 3-2 2-out pitch to Doogie. Doogie, big swing and a miss. And a throaty roar going up from the Royal Rooters and others here at Fenway Park. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, a runner left in scoring position. We go to the bottom of the 14th inning, and we are still tied at 2 as Tris Speaker will lead it off, followed by Larry Gardner and Duffy Lewis for the Boston Red Sox. Speaker 3 for 4 in the game today. Alexander, 6 strikeouts and a walk through 13 innings now. Count even on Speaker, who walked back in the 11th. Speaker swings, and this one sinking liner to left and right into the glove of Fields Becker. So Speaker will go back to the dugout, and that will bring up Larry Gardner. 1 for 5, becoming a point of pride for both of these pitchers now, Wood and Alexander. Burns sets the target for Alexander. Here's the 1-2 delivery to Larry Gardner. Gardner swings, and this one line to right. This will get down for a base hit. That is number 8 for Boston. Larry Gardner is aboard with the winning run at first here in game 1, and it brings up Duffy Lewis, and that will be all for Grover Cleveland Alexander. Al Demery will come in now in relief. Demery with a 14-11 record in 1915 for the Philadelphia Phillies. 71 earned runs that year, 58 walks, 69 strikeouts, an ERA of 3.05. So Larry Gardner with pretty good speed at first represents the winning run. Duffy Lewis, the base hit, could get the walk-off here for Boston. Demery with the 2-0, and this one, the bunt gets down. It's a good one. Duffy Lewis with the sacrifice, and that will move Larry Gardner into scoring position for Del Gaynor, the first baseman, striding to the plate. Gaynor nothing for 1 in the game. Demery ready to deal. Here's the 1-2. Gaynor flied out to left his last time up. This is going to be grounded to short, and up with it is Beauty Bancroft and fires onto first, and the Red Sox threat is taken care of, baseball fans. And here we go to the 15th inning, and it is knotted at 2. Breakfast with the Beatles, bring it on, says, yeah, so people were shocked by that, but remember this though, John, in the dead ball era, pitchers, unlike today, weren't throwing fastball after fastball after fastball. You had more bunts and, again, a lot of small ball. So, pitchers bore down when they had to. And certainly you had anomalies, like Walter Johnson, Smokey Joe Wood. But in a way, I mean, it's the same game we play today. But as I mentioned on a recent broadcast, Ed Rulbach is the only pitcher to do this in baseball history. Pitched 2 games of a doubleheader, and both were shutouts. 18 innings of shutout ball, so imagine that. Joe Wood looking like he's running out of gas here, though, certainly, as John talks about the pitch count, and it is up there. In fact, he is in the red. So we'll see whether Smokey Joe will get through. And here is Bobby Byrne. So a name the Philadelphia Phillies fans should know, and I think baseball fans should know. Bobby Byrne hit 209 in 1915 with 21 runs batted in. Pinch Thomas, gotta love it. And going to be looking at Baseball Reference. I need me some Pinch Thomas information. Joe Wood deals. Here's the 0-1. Bobby Byrne swings, and this is going to get down for a base hit in front of the speaker in center field. Well, that was the saying back then, Aaron. You were paid to pitch 9, and that's what you did. And I quoted Smokey Joe Wood earlier in the broadcast, and he said it was considered disgraceful for a pitcher to not complete what he started. And here is a guy that has an interesting connection, Ernie Shore. He has an interesting connection to another pitcher on this staff. That is tonight's sort of trivia question. So Ernie Shore has an interesting connection to another pitcher in his Boston staff. What is the connection? So we do have a pitching change. So Ernie Shore will come in 19 and 8 in 1915 for the Boston Red Sox. He worked 247 innings, walked 66 and struck out 102 with a 1.64 earned run average. Okay, so Jackass Whiskey asking why Home Run Baker is in the Hall of Fame. He says he's not against it, just need the context. All right, so we'll see. There you go. Combined no-hitter with Babe Ruth. Well done, cousin Ken Castro. For bonus points, how many innings did Ernie Shore last, cousin Ken? Or even more specifically, how many batters? All right, so possum-witted batting here. Bobby Byrne on the first. Decent speed for Bobby Byrne. Possum-witted 1 for 6. He's made a couple good plays out there in center field, though. So Ernie Shore has finished with his warm-up pitches. And here is the 2-0 delivery. And show and bunt. It's a good one. So possum-witted with a successful sacrifice. Bobby Byrne will move into scoring position for Philadelphia. So here we go again. Yes, he was. He was ejected. So Ken Castro picking up the connection between Ernie Shore and George Herman Ruth. Here's Milt Stock, 1 for 5 with an RBI in this game. Philadelphia has left runners in scoring position. Looks like the infield right now playing a double play depth. Ernie Shore with the 2-2 delivery to Milt Stock. Grounded to short his last time up, and it looks like he's going to maybe ground to third at this time. And up with it is Larry Gardner, who gets this wide of third. Looks burned back at second, and throw on to Del Gaynor, and that is out number 2. So Fred Luderis, 2 for 6 in the game, top of the 15th. Your score 2-2. The lefty stands in. Ernie Shore has the sign from catcher Pinch Thomas. The 1-1 to Fred Luderis. Grounded out back in the 13th to Larry Gardner. He swings, and he's going to ground this one down the line to third. And coming around to score, Fred Luderis has himself an RBI double. And the Philadelphia Phillies jump into the lead as Bobby Byrne crosses the plate. Fred Luderis puts the Phils on top, 3-2 here at the top of inning number 15.
Good intended.
And here's Gavy Kravitz now. Gavy Kravitz with a home run in this game. So this ball just skipped right past Del Gaynor. Let's have a look at that. Let's look at the Fred Luderis double here again just quickly. Yep, right through the wickets. Luderus with a slide in there and plenty of time. All right, Kravitz in the box now. Last scoring in this game was by Gabby Kravitz. Ernie Shore winds and fires the full count to Gabby Kravitz. Kravitz swings, and this is a little flare to right, and this will get down for a base hit in front of Harry Hooper. The strong peg home, and this one is going to get by. This one's going to get by Thomas and all the way to the backstop. And Gabby Kravitz is on second. And coming in to score is Fred Luderus. And now the Philadelphia Phillies here in the 15th, leading 4-2. Niels Becker now bats with a runner in scoring position. The Phillies finally capitalizing on runners in scoring, runner in scoring position situations. Becker 1 for 5. Ernie Shore deals to Becker. Becker swings, easy pop up, and this one will get out to the outfield. And Tris Speaker has it measured and pulls it in. However, the Philadelphia Phillies pick up 2 runs, 3 hits, 1 error. They leave one in scoring position. We head to the bottom of the 15th inning. It's the Phillies 4 and the Boston Red Sox 2. Future Hall of Famer who spent a little bit of time with the Boston Red Sox, Epa Rixey, will come on to pitch. The southpaw, of course, spending most of his career with Big Clue's Cincinnati Reds and Aaron Reed's Cincinnati Reds. I keep forgetting we always have 2 Reds fans at least here now. So Hall of Famer versus Hall of Famer. Harry Hooper 1 for 4 as Cousin Ken says, here we go Philly. Epa Rixey has finished his warm-up pitches. The southpaw has the sign from Ed Burns. Here is the 2-1. Epa Jephthah Rixey. So opponents hit 245 against him last season in save situations. And this one, line to the gap and left, charging back on it toward the Lifebuoy sign, and making the catch is Beals Becker. What a great catch by Becker in left field. That one definitely saves an extra base hit. Let's look at that again. Watch Beals Becker in left field making that play, charging toward that Lifebuoy sign. Maybe it's not going to do it. Let's try one more time here. Okay, well, looks like we got a little bit of a bug there, and that's fine. But great catch by Becker. All right, here is Pinch Thomas now. 0-for-1. Phillies 2 outs from taking Game 1 of the 1915 World Series replay. Rixey deals. Here's the 1-2 delivery to Thomas. Thomas swings and base hit. This one's going to make it in the corner in right field. Thomas digging for 2, and he will be in there as Gabby Kravitz gets that ball in quickly. So Boston now with a runner in scoring position, and the tying run comes to the plate, and Heine Wagner. Wagner, no 0-for-1, and I always feel compelled to say no relation to Hannes Wagner. Pinch Thomas has good speed there at second. Epa Rixey has the sign from Ed Burns. Here is the delivery, and this one is going to get away from Ed Burns, and moving to third on the wild pitch is Pinch Thomas. So the Red Sox refusing to go quietly into that good night, and starting to get into the gloaming a little bit here at Fenway Park. Heine Wagner back in the box. The count even on him at 2-2. Flied out his last time up. Ground ball to first, and taking it to the bag himself is Fred Luderus. So 2 down. Pinch Thomas holds it third, and it's up to Hal Janvrin to try to tie it up here for the Boston Red Sox in the bottom of the 15th. He is 0-for-2. Epa Rixey works from the stretch, and the 2-1 delivery to Hal Janvrin, who flied out his last time up. This one grounder to short. This should be the ball game, and indeed it is. Dave Bancroft makes the grab, the 6-3 put out, and that will do it. At the bottom of the 15th inning, The 1915 Philadelphia Phillies take Game 1 of the 1915 World Series. And let's look at our little recap here. So Phillies need extras atop Red Sox, lead 1-0 in the series. One game in, and the World Series is already looking exhausting. The 1915 Phillies and 15 Red Sox needed 15 innings to settle Game 1, with the Phillies finally taking the 4-2 victory at Fenway. Excelling in the win was Philadelphia starting pitcher Grover Cleveland Alexander, who threw 13 1/3 innings of 8-hit ball. The Phillies and Red Sox are playing in a best-of-7. In his 182-pitch effort, Alexander allowed 2 runs on 8 hits over 13 1/3. He walked 1 and struck out 6. So we'll be returning to Fenway Park for this one. Alexander, of course, the MVP of the game. The line for the Philadelphia Phillies: 4 runs, 14 hits, 1 error. For the 1915 Red Sox: 2 runs, 9 hits, and 1 error. And that does it. That does it. That does it. All kinds of good stuff. 1 home run in this game, Gavin Kravitz. 1 triple by Hick Cady for the Boston Red Sox. Trispeaker had a steal. He was also caught stealing. Philadelphia bringing a running game. Both Beals Becker and Grover Cleveland Alexander each with a steal. However, possum-witted Fred Luderus and Gavin Kravitz caught stealing. An error in this game by Fred Luderus for Philadelphia and Harry Hooper for Boston. Boston would turn 1 double play. That was Janvrin to Wagner to Gaynor. Smokey Joe Wood in the loss went 14 innings, 12 hits, 3 runs. They were earned. Walked 3, struck out 4. Was touched up for that Gavin Kravitz home run and a 1.93 earned run average. Ernie Shore came in, worked an inning, was touched up for an earned run. And there you have it, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. How about Hippo Vaughn for a name? How about it? That's a great name. Hippo Vaughn. Quite a fine pitcher he was, too. All right. We're going to do a little bit of a switcheroo around here, I think. Yeah, we are. So let's see what we can do here for this bit. If this thing is going to behave itself. This is one of the things you gotta love about, there we go, that works. So let's leave this game, and we're not going to finish, we will finish today, and then we'll be set for game 2. Now the park main screen, and let us exit. And let's go boom, like that. And I don't think I have the correct screen capture on this, so I beg your, I hope this is the right one. I hope. All right, we'll see. All right, so of course I was playing a little bit of baseball here. So this is game 2 of a doubleheader, and we are going back to our dead ball tournament. So if you thought 1915 was early, you ain't seen nothing. So this is the Ken Castro League, and these are teams from the 19th century and the dead ball era. Teams initially represented in this were the 1907 Tigers, the 1894 Baltimore Orioles, 1911 Philadelphia A's, 1912 Boston Red Sox, 1908 Cleveland Naps, 1904 New York Giants, 1914 Boston Braves, 1919 Cincinnati Reds, 1885 Chicago White Stockings, and 1909 Pittsburgh Pirates. So that was round 1. Advancing to round 2, we saw that the Cincinnati Reds swept by the 1907 Chicago Cubs. They will go on to meet in the best-of-7 round 3, the 1908 Cleveland Naps. So they defeated the 1909 Pittsburgh Pirates 3-1. In other news, in our last visit to this league, the 1912 Boston Red Sox were on the verge of eliminating the 1884 Providence Grays, but the Providence Grays staying alive. So 2-1, the Red Sox lead in that one. And finally, what has probably been the most fun in this entire tournament, 2 19th century teams 1894 Orioles and the 1885 Chicago White Stockings. The White Stockings coming into this as underdogs. They did get a bye in the first round, but they have a 2-game-to-nothing lead over John McGraw and Huey Jennings, and of course Ned Hanlon, manager of the 1894 Baltimore Orioles. It's been a war between these two teams, and the 1885 Chicago White Stockings, the only team in this tournament that would not be considered modern baseball. So, but they're hanging in there, and here we go. Yeah, it's going to be a wild one. It is definitely going to be a wild one. Ken, I don't know if you want to do managing honors for either of these teams. If you do, let me know. I'm just going to set whoever comes up as home team, and let's go to it. Oh my God, why does this do this? I've never seen this, and there we go. Must be a thing with tournaments in here. So this game will be played in Baltimore. I see what's going on here, guys, because I did a little switcheroo here. So let me see. Yeah. Oh my goodness gracious. Sorry, guys. I wanted to do a little bit of a switch here tonight, and I want to try something here. So if you would just pardon me, because I wanted to see with from another monitor, and I just got to add another one to catch this. Oh, hang on a second. I'm going to actually, whoops, no. I'm going to actually exit out of this game and start again after I pick the lineups, because I've got to switch this the way I usually do. Okay. So appreciate you guys for a minute as I move you all over there. There we go. Fun stuff. All right, now let's see if OBS is going to pick this up anywhere. Hopefully it will. I just love it. That's not quite what we're. Oh, that is what we're looking for, I believe. And just excuse the blackout for a minute. And Ken's just going to watch and enjoy once I get through all the technical issues tonight. Don't have anybody in the truck here in 19th century, and not sure why we're not seeing anything. Why am I having these difficulties tonight? I have no idea, except that I absolutely hate OBS. Now let's see if it picks it up. There we go. Whew, nice. All right, let's do this. His Action PC bounces all over the place. Sometimes I hate this game. Just telling you. Sometimes I absolutely hate Action PC because it doesn't play well with others. All right, we're just going to go ahead and computer line up everything then. If Ken is just going to sit back. And that's good. All right, here we go. Everything looking kosher again. So this has been a wild series between these two teams. So George Gore will lead it off, but first let's look at the starting defense for the 1894 Baltimore Orioles under the leadership of Ned Hanlon. In left field, Hall of Famer Joe Kelly. In center, Steve Brody. In right field, Hall of Famer Wee Willie Keeler. At first base, Hall of Famer Dan Bruthers. At second, Heine Reitz. At short, Hall of Famer Huey Jennings. At third, Hall of Famer John McGraw. This Baltimore team is loaded, of course. Hall of Famer Wilbur Robertson catching and pitching. Hall of Famer Kid Gleason. So, and stepping in, leading off here for the Chicago White Stockings is George Gore. This is being played at a neutral park because I couldn't find anything really appropriate for Baltimore. So, just pretend this is a park in Baltimore rather than League Park in Cleveland, and we'll be fine. George Gore is 4 for 8 in this tournament. He has a double, a triple, a home run, 2 runs batted in. So hitting .500, and we're ready to go. The weather here is 50 degrees. It's clear, and the winds 6 miles per hour, right to left, and we're ready to play ball. Hope you enjoy the game. George Gore swings and base hit, and he's digging for 2 as Willie Keeler and Steve Brody converge on that ball, and in with the leadoff double to start the festivities for the Chicago White Stockings is George Gore, and here is Hall of Famer Cap Anson. Anson hitting .444 with 2 runs batted in the series. Anson has a double. He has also stolen 3 bases and scored 3 times. So Gore, you'll notice again that there are no stolen bases. You'll see for the 1885 White Stockings, so the game using an algorithm, as stolen bases were not a stat until 1887. Gleason deals now the 2-1 delivery fastball to Anson, base hit. This one going all the way to the wall, and Cap Anson with the RBI double, scoring George Gore, and the White Stockings tally one here in the first. Here's my favorite 19th century player, Michael King Kelly. Kelly hitting .250 with a run batted in. Kelly with only 1 stolen base, uncharacteristic for Kelly. He has also scored twice. So Anson on at second. Kid Gleason checks the runner, deals. Count even on Kelly. Fastball chopped to short. Huey Jennings up with it onto Dan Bruthers to retire King Kelly. Moving to third on the play is Cap Anson. So 1 away. Anson just 90 feet away for left fielder Abner Dalrymple, hitting .300, a home run, 4 runs batted in for him. A stolen base, 2 runs scored. Gleason sets from the stretch, and the 1-2 to Dalrymple. Spitball, base hit, center field off the wall, and Keeler has it. Dalrymple will go into third. The throw hitting Jennings, the cutoff man. Jennings throws to McGraw, the tag not in time. Dalrymple picks up the RBI triple, and the White Stockings put 2 here in the top of the first. And we're not done yet. Here's Ned Williamson. So Ned is 0 for 5, a run batted in, 2 runs scored, and a steal. So 1 out, and Dalrymple just 90 feet away. Gleason from the stretch, and the 2-2 to Williamson. Fastball, base hit, left field. Chicago White Stockings swinging the lumber today. So Williamson batting in, Dalrymple picking up the RBI, and the White Stockings have plated 3 here, and we are just underway. Tom Burns now. We saw Ed Burns in 1915. This is Tom Burns, and they don't look alike at all. So, and of course we have George Burns in baseball and in comedy, so popular name, right? And of course the Ken Burns documentary. So it's Burns night here on the Beatles Eternally channel. The shortstop hitting .429 for the White Stockings with 2 runs batted in, 3 runs scored, 2 steals. Williamson at first, leads off first, still 1 down. Kid Gleason into the wind and the pitch, and there goes Williamson, the throw down, the tag, and Williamson picks up the steal. So I'd be curious, I'd like to ask Dave Cook what kind of algorithm he uses for base stealing for seasons prior to 1887. There's only 6 of them, 1880 to 1886, or so 7 seasons. So be curious to see how that's built into this game. And caught stealing wouldn't be a stat until even later. Kid Gleason deals now to Tom Burns. Tom Burns, base hit left, rounding third is Williamson, and he will hold there. So a single, and that's the 5th hit for Chicago, and it brings up Fred Pfeffer. Pfeffer hitting .333 with 4 runs batted in the series, 2 runs scored, no steals for Pfeffer. So Tom Burns leads off first. Williamson scampering down the line at third as Gleason's delivery from the stretch comes. And there goes Burns. And Burns picks up the stolen base. So 2 in scoring position for the 1885 White Stockings. Pfeffer back in the box now. And the 0-1 fastball. Easy fly ball to center field. Steve Brody makes the catch, tagging, at third, and Williamson in ahead of the Wilbur Robinson sweep tag. And Chicago busting out with 4, but guys, do not think of this as modern baseball. It's not like Baltimore is going to have a lot of work to make up. These have been crazy, crazy games. And Bernard Strom, everybody check out that channel. He's doing a 1950 Red Sox replay, doing PC Replay Baseball. It's a rare treat that I get to catch Bernard live. Calls a great game and really a lot of fun. So if you have not subscribed to that channel, please do so. Really, really good. All right, so Ken Castro saying in this 19th century matchup, the over-under is 28 hits total. So we will see. All right, Kid Gleason works from the stretch, and John Clarkson, a name that should be known to scholars of this era of baseball, steps in. John Clarkson hitting .222 in this tournament with a home run, 2 runs batted in. Clarkson has a run scored. So Chicago White Stockings swinging the lumber here for sure. Gleason deals from the stretch to John Clarkson. Clarkson swinging on the first pitch, base it up the middle, just under the hand, or the glove, I should say, of Heine Reitz. And the 5th Chicago run scores as Tom Burns touches them all. The home plate back in this day, by the way, wouldn't have been a home plate, but rather it was sort of a diamond on its own, if you will. That change from what we think of the home plate would come in the dead ball era. So in the 19th century, this would be sort of like a little diamond. Ted Kennedy steps in now, and we've got Irishmen all over the place, which makes me happy. Ted Kennedy making his first appearance in this tournament. So should Kennedy get on, Chicago will have batted around. 2 away, John Clarkson on at first. Kid Gleason has the sign from Wilbur Robinson, the wind, and the 3-2 curveball, and Kennedy swing and a miss, and that ends the inning. So Chicago sends 9 to the plate, 5 runs, 6 hits, no errors. It's a half inning. It's the White Stockings 5 and the Orioles coming to bat. Let's look at the starting defense for the 1885 Chicago White Stockings. In left field, Abner Dalrymple. In center, George Gore. Well ahead of climate change, by the way. In right field, John Clarkson. From first to third around the horn, Hall of Famer Cap Anson at first. Fred Pfeffer at second. Tom Burns at short. Ned Williamson at third. Catching the great Michael King Kelly, Hall of Famer. And pitching Ted Kennedy. Kennedy's line in 1894 for the Chicago White Stockings, a 3.43 earned run average, 7 wins, 2 losses. 78 2/3 worked, 5 home runs given up, 28 walks, 36 strikeouts. In 1885, the league hit .288 against Ted. Ted's whip is a 1.513. Dan Burke coming in. Bernard, the Philadelphia Phillies won it in the won it in the top of the 15th. So, whew. All right, back to game action. Again, guys, I know there's some audio issues with the mic. I deeply apologize. I think I've just got to just hit up somewhere, Amazon, eBay, wherever, and just pick up a new mic. So thank you for bearing with me, and let's get this going. This Baltimore Orioles team loaded with great players, Hall of Famers, and here's Joe Kelly. Joe Kelly hitting .348. Joe Kelly has batted in 3, has scored 6 times. So here we go. Not a strong pitching staff, I should say, for these Baltimore Orioles, as you will see. Kennedy deals. Here's the 1-1 to Joe Kelly. Joe Kelly, base hit, right field, and here we go. Hit number 7, Cousin Ken, saying that the over-under is 28 hits total between these two teams. So here is Little Napoleon, John McGraw, who really needs no introduction. McGraw hitting .261 in the tournament. 3 runs batted in, 5 runs scored. He stole 2. McGraw in this tournament has grounded into a double play. Joe Kelly, good leadoff first. Kelly in 1894, 46 steals. So an incredible amount of speed for the 1894 Baltimore Orioles. I strongly suggest a book called Where They Ain't. And it's the story of the 1894 Baltimore Orioles. And it's brilliant. If you go to Camden Yards, the insignia along in the bleacher seats on the first level, it is the insignia, the logo of the 1894 Baltimore Orioles. So even though the modern Orioles and these Baltimore Orioles have no relation, at least in terms of baseball lineage, I thought that was a great touch for the architects at Camden Yards to have that there in those seats in the grandstands at Camden Yards. So if you're ever in an end seat, you go to a game at Camden Yards, it's right through the iron or steel on those chairs, the 1894 insignia. Really cool. All right. Kennedy deals to McGraw. Irishman everywhere. We got an Irish catcher, an Irish batter, an Irish pitcher, and an Irishman on at first. Oh, I love it. All right, Kennedy deals. Here's the 0-1 to McGraw. McGraw, chopper up the middle. Pfeffer will go to Burns, but the fielder's choice, they're not going to get McGraw on the relay throw. McGraw beats it out, so Baltimore Orioles with a runner on and one out for Dan Bruthers. Bruthers hitting .429 in this tournament. A home run, 3 runs batted in. Big Dan Bruthers. So here is the pitch from Ted Kennedy. The 1-1 to Bruthers. Fastball. And Bruthers sends this high and deep to right and open the window Aunt Minnie. Dan Bruthers goes downtown for 2, and just like that, the Baltimore Orioles answered with 2 in the bottom of the first. This game 5-2, and that is hit number 8 between these two teams. So Mark Roberts asking Dan Burke who his favorite team is. So there you go. No, I don't think it's a Jackass Whiskey says that he grilled 3 burgers and 6 brats to perfection just a few hours ago. The problem is he wasn't hungry, and his dog is a chow hound, cute, loyal, viscous, and has sad brown eyes. So, you know, there is certainly not a problem there. I'm sure your wonderful, wonderful canine companion will help you deal with the comestibles there, Mr. Jackass Whiskey and Pinto Beans. All right, so Cap Anson playing in at first, Ned Williamson in at third, looking for bunt from one of the game's greatest place hitters of all time, Wee Willie Keeler. In fact, his 44-game hitting streak in the National League was only ever tied by Pete Rose decades and decades and decades later. Of course, Joe DiMaggio breaking Keeler's record before Rose tied it. So a record that still stands in the National League by Wee Willie Keeler. 44-game hitting streak tied by Pete Rose. Ted Kennedy deals to Wee Willie. See if he does a Baltimore chop here, and tried, but fouls it back. Kennedy brings it home, the 1-2 to Keeler, and this one chopped on the third base side, and this is going to be close, and Wee Willie Keeler gets himself a little Baltimore chop base hit. The Baltimore chop was, of course, they would chop down in front of that ball hard. Other teams adopted it, but also defended against it. When the Baltimore Orioles would come to their ballparks, they would soak the home plate area. And so when you tried to chop, the ball just splatted in the mud. All right, so Keeler aboard, and Wee Willie pilfered 32 bases for Ned Hanlon's Orioles in 1894, as Steve Brody steps in now. The center fielder for Baltimore, .318 average in this tournament, a home run, 7 runs batted in. Ted Kennedy checks the speedy Keeler at first. Anson waiting for the throw over. Here's the 1-0 delivery coming home to Steve Brody. Curveball, and this one, a hard ground ball to Pfeffer. Plenty of time onto Burns, short back to Anson at first for the inning-ending double play. However, the 1894 Baltimore Orioles pick up 2 runs, 3 hits, no errors. We've played 1, and it's the White Stockings 5 and the Orioles 2. as Aaron Reed says, it's Senator Ted Kennedy. Mark Roberts' Cap Anson, legendary skill at the plate. Many feel that Cap Anson was probably the greatest player of the 19th century. Cap Anson, an early, not sure that you could say he rather, it was the Ken Burns documentary and other sources, and maybe Ken Castro, a resident 19th century baseball guru, could shed some light on this. That Anson is said to be one of the pioneers, if not the pioneer, of spring training. So I don't know if Ken could shed some light on this. I mean, certainly from the Ken Burns documentary, other sort of sources that I've read tend to point to Anson as being at least one of the pioneers of spring training baseball. Christopher Slovic in there. Christopher, I don't think I'm going to be able to make it Wednesday, man. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna double check everything tomorrow. So I really want to get together with you, at least to have a beer, if that's possible. This week is turning out to be like a mess, but please hang in with me, man, and I will definitely let you know. I'll message you tomorrow. I promise. I promise. I promise. John Lennon said, life is what happens when you are busy making other plans. All right, so double to right center for George Gore as we return to the top of the order for the 1885 White Stockings. Check out Christopher Slovic's channel. He's right now back in the United States with us, but when he returns to Islamabad, he will be continuing the Creators Cup Series. I think we're into the playoffs now in that. And Cousin Ken saying that is true about Cap Anson. He was way ahead of his time, in his opinion. Certainly was. And his players hated him for it, but played well for him. All right, Gleason deals now. The 2-2 pitch to Gore, and Gore, chopper to second, Reeds, routine 4-3 put out to Dan Bruthers for out number one here in the second in this 5-2 ball game. Thank you, Christopher. Cap Anson now. Anson, RBI double, scored George Gore back in the first, and that was the first of 5 Chicago runs in the first. Chicago sent 9 men to the plate in the first inning and were able to get 5 runs out of it, including a big home run in this game. Gleason deals the 1-2 delivery, and base hit by Anson to left field, and here we go. That is hit number 7 for the White Stockings and 10 in this game thus far. So Cap Anson aboard for King Kelly. He grounded to short last time up. And this one high and outside. They were looking for Anson to steal, but Anson remains planted at first. So the 1-0 delivery coming now to my favorite player, King Kelly. And there goes Anson. Gunning down is Wilbert Robinson, but Cap Anson, when the dust settles, gets the stolen base. So Cap Anson, potential 6th run for the Chicago White Stockings in scoring position as King Kelly back in the box now. Robinson sets the target, not crouching. Gleason deals. Kelly swings in this curveball. This one a high fly ball to left. Back on it is Joe Kelly. And tagging at second and into third is Anson. His throw gets away from John McGraw, and Anson will come around to score. Costly E7 for the Baltimore Orioles, and the Chicago White Stockings now lead the Baltimore Orioles 6-2 in the top of the second. So we had an extra inning game in game 1 of the 1915 World Series, and of course, as you know, any game that's got a slugfest is going to go long. So here we go. Admiral Dalrymple, RBI triple that scored Cap Anson back in that big first for the White Stockings. Run in, bases empty, courtesy of the Joe Kelly error. Gleason deals the 0-1 to Dalrymple. Curveball. Oh, this one deflects off Gleason onto Reeds, who fires it onto Bruthers for the putout. So we could call that a 1-4-3 putout. So, and that does it. 1 run, 1 hit, 1 error. We go to the bottom of the second, the 1885 Chicago 9-6, and these Baltimore Orioles of 1894 too. And stepping in now is Huey Jennings, lawyer in the offseason. Would go on to coach for the Detroit Tigers. Jennings having a superb tournament here in this KCL tournament. He is hitting .550, so 11 for 20, baseball fans. 2 doubles, 4 runs batted in, 8 runs scored, and to add to that, a steal for EA. Very young Huey Jennings there. Ted Kennedy ready to deal. Here is the 1-0. Changeup, and Jennings chops this one to short. Tom Burns up with it on to Cap Anson to retire Jennings for out number 1. Wilbert Robinson now. So Robbie is hitting an even .300 with 7 runs batted in. Kelly sets the target. Kennedy with the wind in the 0-2. Fastball, base hit up the middle, splitting them as Burns and Pfeffer. Burns getting to the ball first, and Wilbert Robinson aboard. And here's Heine Reeds, the second baseman for the Chicago White Stockings in the tournament, hitting .364. A double, 2 triples, 6 runs scored, 2 steals. You're also free Thursday night as well. Thursday night might actually work better than Wednesday. Ted Kennedy sets and fires. Here's the 1-1. Fastball swung on. This one, a comebacker to Kennedy, but Kennedy is just going to eat this ball as he can't pull it out of his glove. That's E1. And 2 aboard now, and as kind of predicted, this is a wild one, or going to be a wild one, as they have been between these two teams. They've been classics, making me wanting to just figure out a way to do something 19th century on here, strictly 19th century, but I have no idea how to even pull that one off yet. Infield in at the corners once again, and here is Kid Gleason. Gleason hitting .333, so just 1 for 3 in the tournament. Infield looking bunt with 1 out. Ted Kennedy sets and fires. The 1-1 pitch. Spitball, Gleason, base hit, into left and into score is Wilbert Robinson, and Baltimore answers in the bottom of the second. It's 6-3. We're up to 12 hits between these two teams now. Joe Kelly looking to exonerate himself from that costly error in left now steps to the plate. Joe is 1 for 1 for the Orioles. So back in the first, grounded to single. So Kid Gleason at second, Heine Reeds at third for Baltimore with a run in. Kennedy brings it home. And first pitch swinging, base hit to center field. Gord gets to it, into score. Reeds and Gleason. And it is now 6-5, and the Orioles are back in this one. We're now at hit number 13. Welcome to 19th century baseball, and it is different than dead ball. So, of course, the White Stockings would not have worn baseball gloves at all. The Orioles would have worn very small gloves. In fact, the gloves, even going in the early gloves into the dead ball era, some of them still didn't have the webbing yet. They were literally little more than like a leather glove, like a leather driving glove that you would put into your hand. Padding would come along pretty early on in the dead ball era. But just some little fun trivia there if you're interested. Swig a lemonade as John McGraw steps in. Little Napoleon in the game. Grounded out back in the first, 6-5 to score. Still 1 out. Ted Kennedy throws over Joe Kelly back ahead of the Anson tag. Kelly sets the target for Ted Kennedy. Here's the wind. Full count on McGraw. McGraw sends this to right. This has distance, but not enough. Clarkson will get it short of the wall. Tagging it first and moving to second is Joe Kelly. So a runner in scoring position now. The tying run for the Baltimore Orioles. 2 down. for Big Dan Bruthers. Always a fearsome bat, and showing that again, hitting .455 with 2 home runs in this tournament, and he hit a 2-run shot back in the first that made it 5-2 Chicago at that time. Bruthers bats from the left. Kennedy deals. Kelly at second. Here's the 1-0. Fastball, base hit, right field. John Clarkson up with a Kelly, rounds third, and he will come in to score. And we are tied 6-6, and that is hit number 14 in this game. Wee Willie Keeler, 1 for 1. Singled on the infield. Dan Bruthers in 1894 stole 38 bases. So the slowest runner on this 1894 Baltimore Orioles team in terms of stolen bases is Wilbur Robinson. So no big surprise there. Kennedy checks Bruthers at first, the wind, and throwing over. Dan Bruthers back ahead of Anson's tag. Kennedy has the sign from Kel. Here's the wind and the pitch. Fastball, chopped to second. Pfeffer will go to Anson, and they get Keeler just by a step. However, Baltimore Orioles strike for 4 runs, 4 hits, 1 error, 2 in the books, and it is 6, 7, 1, and 1 across the board for both teams. Ned Williamson will lead it off here for the Chicago White Stockings, and then Tom Burns and Fred Pfeffer. So Ned, RBI single to left center, scoring Abner Dalrymple back in the first. Gleason kicks and deals. Changeup. Williamson sends this one high and deep to right, but down into the glove of Willie Keeler, making a nice backpedaling catch in the right pasture for 1 down. Tom Burns singled back in the first, so he is 1 for 1. Kid Gleason in the game has struck out 1. Gleason deals the 0-1. Burns cuts in his fastball, base hit right field, and if you're keeping score, that is number 15, Cousin Ken Castro. As Fred Pfeffer comes to the plate, George Burns, good lead off first. Gleason with a check of the runner. He comes home with it, and there goes Burns, the throw down by Robinson, and that is going to be a stolen base for Tom Burns. So the potential go-ahead run for the Chicago White Stockings of 1885 here in the third on at second base, and Tom Burns. Robinson sets the target. Gleason with a check of the runner. The 1-0. Pfeffer swings, bounding ball to third, and McGraw barehanding it and firing it on to Dan Bruthers for out number 2. Tom Burns will hold second for John Clarkson. John Clarkson has an RBI in this game. Robinson with the target. Gleason with the twirl. The 1-0. Fastball, base hit, line. No, this is not line. Joe Kelly making a great catch just off the blade of grass, and that will end the inning. The first scoreless inning in this game. No runs, 1 hit, no errors. And we go to the bottom of the third, and we are knotted at 6. Oh, she's vicious. Okay, not viscous. I was kind of wondering about that, but in an odd, good way. She's vicious in her loyalty to me. She's a very strange hound. Hope you gave her some brats and a little bit of burger there, Jackass Whiskey. Especially since they were cooked to perfection. All right, here is center fielder Steve Brody. Steve Brody grounded second into a double play back in the first. Ted Kennedy has neither walked nor struck out a batter, kicks and fires. The 3-2, Brody pops this one high in the infield. Tom Burns waving off Ned Williamson, and he will make the catch for out number 1. Huey Jennings now. Jennings grounded to short. Kennedy brings it home. Jennings sends this one to right field. Should be no problem. John Clarkson ranging back and camps under it and makes the out. So 2 away here in the bottom of the third inning for Wilbur Robinson, who would become Uncle Wilbur Robinson, manager of the Robins. So one of just a handful of players who actually had a team named after. In fact, I think in the major leagues, only Napoleon Lajoie and Wilbur Robinson hold that distinction. Napoleon Lajoie, of course, with Cleveland, and Robinson with the the Dodgers, who had many, many names before they were the Dodgers, and one of them was the Robins, after Robinson. So correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but I do think it's just Lajoie and Robinson that actually had teams named after them for a time. 2 out here in the bottom of the 3rd inning, and here's a delivery. The 1-2 to Wilbert Robinson, and Robinson cut and a miss. And that does it. And we go to the 4th inning, is nothing across. So 2 scoreless inning is fine, or a scoreless inning, I should say. And we go to the 4th, and it is 6-6. So Ted Kennedy, George Gore, Cap Anson do up for the 1885 White Stockings. Kid Gleason deals. Kid Gleason, of course. Well, let's see. We have a little error out there at short. And Kennedy is safe. So Kennedy is safe. Jennings having trouble with that ball. Score that one E6. Kid Gleason, of course, probably best known to history as the manager of the infamous 1919 Black Sox. All right, stepping into the box now is George Gore. George with a double and a ground out in this game. Kennedy at first, nobody out. Baltimore looking double play, the 1-2 pitch. And this changeup, grounded to third, McGraw to Reitz on the pivot to Dan Bruthers, and indeed, Gore grounding into the double play. So 2 away, and that erases the bases, and that brings up Cap Anson. Perfect 2 for 2 today, RBI double in the first, single in the second. Kid Gleason on the hill brings it home. The 2-0 curve. Anson promptly smacks this one to right. Base hit. Keeler up with it quickly. Gets it into Heine Reitz at second. So Anson aboard. That is hit number 9. 16 hits now in this game for King Kelly. Sacrifice scoring Cap Anson back in the second. Gleason deals to King Kelly. There goes Anson to throw down, and Cap Anson is caught stealing, so he is 1 for 2 in steal attempts. That ends the inning. No runs, 1 hit, no errors. We go to the 4th. Is it turning into a pitcher's duel? It is now 6-6. And Heine Reitz, Kid Gleason, and Joe Kelly do up for the 1894 Baltimore Orioles. Again, I can't thank the community enough for hanging out for 19th century baseball. Thank you very, very, very much. All right, Heine Reitz was safe on an error back in the second. He will lead it off here for the Orioles. Kid Gleason waits on deck. Ted Kennedy deals. Full count, curveball, and this one missing high and outside. And Heine Reitz gets the walk. That's Ted Kennedy's first walk of the game. And that brings up number 9 hitter, pitcher Kid Gleason. Gleason with an RBI double, scoring a Robinson his last time up. Lefty hitter, Anson Williamson looking bunt. Kennedy deals to him now. And there goes the runner, and Reitz is caught stealing. So good peg by King Kelly. Just comes up a gunning and cuts him down. So 1 away, bases empty. Kid Gleason now back in the box. Which, of course, as you know, we talk about batters being in the box. But at the time that Ted Kennedy would have been pitching, another name for pitchers was boxman. Kennedy deals now to Gleason. Gleason swings, base hit, right field. And that is hit number 8, so 17 in the game. Ken Castro calling his bookie saying, Joe Kelly, 2 for 2 in the game, singled and an RBI single in this game. Gleason, decent lead off first. Kennedy brings it home. Joe Kelly, count even at 2-2. Spitball in there. And 2 away. John McGraw now Little Napoleon is nothing for two. He's grounded out, fly to right. Kennedy brings it home. McGraw on the 2-2 fastball, base hit, left field. Kid Gleason starts to round second. They're going to hold him at second. And walking to the plate, the fearsome Dan Bruthers. Bruthers with 3 RBIs, so responsible for half of Chicago's 6 runs. Bruthers with a 2-run shot back in the first, and an RBI single scoring Joe Kelly in the second. Kennedy's got to pitch carefully to this fearsome slugger. The 2-1. Dan Bruthers takes this curve, fouled on the right-hand side. This will make the season. If you guys have ever seen a picture of Dan Bruthers, this guy was big dude. Certainly wouldn't want to mess with him in a pub anywhere. Kennedy deals the 2-2. I wouldn't want to mess with McGraw either. And the guy weighed, what, 130 pounds? This one fouled away on the right-hand side. So Bruthers getting a really good look again at Kennedy. Brings it, the 2-2. Change up, and Bruthers straightens this one out, lines it to right, and John Clarkson takes the pill into the glove. So do we have a pitcher's duel going? This is the second consecutive scoreless inning. No runs, 2 hits, no errors. And we go to the 5th inning, and we are knotted at 6. King Kelly will lead it off here now, followed by Abner Dalrymple and Ned Williamson for the Chicago White Stockings. Gleason deals to Kelly, the 0-2. Kelly sends this to center field. Ranging back on is center fielder Steve Brody, and he will close the glove around it for 1 away. Abner Dalrymple, nothing for 2. RBI triple back in the first. Rounded out his last time up. Gleason has the sign from Wilbert Robertson. The wind in the 0-2 fastball. And this one laced to right. Base hit. Willie Keeler up with it. Gets it in. So that puts Chicago in the double digits now and hits at 10. So we're at 19, Cousin Ken. It would be fun to see if this actually would, we're talking about the over-under, if this would actually end with 28 hits for these teams total. I think that would be fun. So I don't know where you got that number, Ken, but it would be fun. All right, here is Ned Williamson, 1 for 2. Dalrymple off first. Gleason checks him. Here's the delivery home. There goes Dalrymple. The throw down by Robinson, and Abner Dalrymple picks up the steal. So Chicago with a runner in scoring position at 1 away. The count 0-1 is Ned Williamson back in the box. Third baseman waits for Kid Gleason's delivery. And here it comes. Fastball, base hit, right field. Willie Keeler up with it. Dalrymple rounding third on the play, but they will flash the stop sign. So runners at the corners for Chicago, and here comes Tom Burns, who has 2 steals on the day. Dalrymple at third, Williamson at first, 1 out, top of the 5th. So Chicago now threatening to end this 2 consecutive innings with zeros for both teams. Tom Burns with a single, 2 singles in this game, I should say, and 2 steals. Gleason working from the stretch. And there goes Williamson, the throw down, the tag not in time. Ned Williamson picks up the stolen base. 2 in scoring position now. Dalrymple at third, Williamson at second. The count 0-1 now on Tom Burns. First base is open. Fred Pfeffer waiting on deck. We'll see what Gleason decides to do here. Here's the delivery. And this one, base hit to right field. Tom Burns picking up a 2 RBI single, scoring Dalrymple and Williamson. The Chicago White Stockings now leading 8-6 here in the 5th. Not sure you got the numbers guessed based on the other 2 games. Good one, Jackass Whiskey saying. And baseball mogul John McGraw has the career stolen base title with 1,073. Sliding Billy is at 894. Wow. I think McGraw, how many did John McGraw actually have? I think John McGraw was somewhere around 400 stolen bases, career 473. If memory serves, I'm looking it up on Baseball Reference. but somehow 473 sticking in my head for career steals. Let's see. Oh, 436. All right, so close enough. Close enough. 436, according to Baseball for Reference. I thought it was 473. All right, 2 in for Chicago, 1 out, and Tom Burns with 2 steals. He may try for the trifecta here as Fred Pfeffer steps in. Pfeffer contributing to the Chicago onslaught. Sacrifice back in the first and scored Ned Williamson. Not much managing you can do in this one. How about it, Cousin Ken? Gleason deals to Pfeffer. Oh, and big swing and a miss, strike 1. And it looked like this Baltimore battery was thinking that Tom Burns was going to take off, but Tom Burns just kind of standing there. A little snicker perhaps, hoping that Big Dan Bruthers doesn't hear him. Let's have a look at Fred there. Quintessential 19th century player. Love it, the big stash there. Gleason deals, and there goes Burns, and Tom Burns with 3 stolen bases in this game. Chicago now the runner in scoring position. Pfeffer back in the box now. Gleason with the pitch, and this one chopped to first. Bruthers will toss on to Gleason covering at first for the second out, and moving to third on the play is Tom Burns. McGraw is in the Hall of Fame as a manager, not a player. I do know that. However, McGraw could also be in the Hall of Fame as a player. He was an excellent player, excellent third baseman, great contact hitter, very fast. So John McGraw was a great baseball player, a rare thing in baseball, a great baseball player and a great manager. So John McGraw, one of the giants of the game. Pardon the pun. So much offense. Yep, it's nearly impossible to play for 1 or 2 runs. Yep, absolutely. And this has got to be weird for the 1885 pitchers because pitching rules are very, very different. So that's what's kind of making this fun. And is it accurate? We'll never know because these 1885 White Stockings are not a modern baseball team. The Orioles are. So, but a lot of fun nonetheless. All right, Robinson sets the target, and Gleason works from the stretch, the 0-2. Clarkson on the fastball, swing and a miss, so 2 runs, 3 hits, no errors. And we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. It's the White Stockings 8 and the Orioles 6. I mean, there's lots we know about 19th century baseball, but, you know, you could make a lot more sense playing a dead ball team versus a team from the 1960s because they're playing under largely the same modern rules, but very different rules in 1885. And of course, the pitching distance and not pitching from the mound, no gloves, high error rates anyhow, and that would continue through the dead ball era as well. In fact, in the dead ball era, and I'm sorry, I'm an educator, and I know that for a lot of people in the community, these 2 eras maybe aren't your thing, and I love them. Errors became so rampant that literally on the front pages of sports pages, at least during the dead ball era, the sports writers would actually make it a point either in the headlines or within the body of the story to point out when there was an errorless game. And it wasn't that the fielders were not good. There were a lot of factors involved in the high error rates that you found, especially in the dead ball era. But it got so bad just that the sports writers would point it out that, the Red Sox beat the Tigers in an errorless game. We don't see that these days, and probably haven't seen that even since the advent of Babe Ruth. But defense, errors would drop as the dead ball era progressed. All right, so Wee Willie Keeler now has a single, an infield single back in the first, and he grounded the second back in the second. Kennedy deals, and base hit, lace to right, and Wee Willie Keeler picks up the 10th Baltimore hit. We are now at 22 combined for these teams. Pardon me, and here is Steve Brody. So Keeler, 32 steals in 1894. Steve Brody in the game has grounded to second, popped to short. Kennedy brings it. The 2-1 delivery to Steve Brody. There goes Wee Willie Keeler. The hit and run was on, but this one fouled on the right-hand side. Anson getting the ball from the usher, throws it back to Ted Kennedy. Count even now on Steve Brody. Here is the wind and the 2-2. Curveball, Brody, easy grounder to second, but they're not going to turn two. Keeler with a hard slide, preventing the throw to first. So Steve Brody aboard due to the fielder's choice, and that brings up Huey Jennings. Jennings with a grounder to short and flight out to deep right. Kennedy throws over, Brody back. Steve Brody, 42 steals in 1894 for Ned Hanlon's Orioles. Kelly sets the target. Ted Kennedy winds and fires. The 0-2 curveball, base hit up the middle. George Gore has it, fires it in to Tom Burns. 2 aboard for the Orioles, 1 down. Brody at second. Jennings at first for Wilbert Robinson. Robinson 1 for 2 in the game, singled back in the second. Ted Kennedy deals. Fastball, base hit up the middle again. And rounding third is Steve Brody, and they're going to flash the stop sign. So the Orioles now have him loaded with 1 out, and second baseman Heine Reitz. And Heine Reitz having a good tournament, a .348 average as of this at bat. He was safe in an error back in the second, walked in the fourth. Steve Brody at second, Steve Brody at third, Huey Jennings at second. Wilbert Robinson holding at first. Ted Kennedy surrounded by Orioles. Here is the wind up. Kelly out to talk to Kennedy. Back behind the dish, the delivery to Reitz, the 0-1. Reitz swings, and this one a comebacker to Kennedy, the fire home. And look, they're calling this one. What are they calling it here? So that was a crazy play. Let's see what happened. So let's look at the text replay. So Kelly out to chat with Kennedy. Reitz steps in, bases loaded, 0-1 count. Reitz hits it on the ground, back to the mound. Kennedy muffles it, and then he fires home. All right, nice play. So 2 away, bases still loaded. And this could loom large for the Baltimore Orioles. And here comes Kid Gleason. RBI double and a single. Bases still jammed. Ted Kennedy dealing with 2 down and the 1-0. And this one chopped deep to short. And Tom Burns unable to hold on to that. E6. And the run comes in for Baltimore here. And it's now 8-7. 24 hits, by the way, in this game. Bases still sold out. Wilbert Robinson at third, Heine Reitz at second, and Kid Gleason at first. John McGraw waits on deck. We never promised this was going to be a neat game, that's for sure. Joe Kelly struck out his last time up, so he's 2 for 3. Kennedy works now, the 1-1. Joe Kelly fouls this one back. The count 1-2 now of the left fielder. Kennedy lets it go. Fastball, base hit, right field. Coming in to score is Wilbert Robinson. Rounding third is Heine Reitz as John Clarkson gets to the ball. The 2 RBI double for Joe Kelly. And now Baltimore takes the lead. It is 9-8. 25 hits in the game. A long inning here at the ballpark for Ted Kennedy. And he's got to face John McGraw, who was 1 for 3. McGraw singled his last time up in the fourth. Kid Gleason at second, Joe Kelly at first. Ted Kennedy with the 1-2. Changed up to McGraw, fouled on the first base side. Count 1-2 now on McGraw. Kennedy fires it in. Fastball chopped to third. Ned Williamson has it. The long throw across the diamond. It's going to be close. and they get McGraw by a gnat's eyelash. So 3 runs, 4 hits, 1 error. We've played 5. Or I'm sorry, we've played 5. I'm getting glary here. It's the 1894 Orioles 9, the 1885 White Stockings 8. The line for Baltimore thus far, 9 runs, 13 hits, 2 errors. Baltimore's left 5 on men on base. Chicago White Stockings, 8 runs, 12 hits, 2 errors, and 3 left on. Ted Kennedy will lead it off here for the White Stockings, followed by George Gore and Cap Anson. The line on Kid Gleason through 5 innings, 12 hits, 7 earned runs. He has struck out 2. Ted Kennedy has struck out, and he was safe on an error back in the 4th. Gleason deals, Kennedy swings, grounded to second, Reeds with a routine 4-3 to Dan Bruthers. 1 up, 1 down. Rip Von Winkle? Huh? Well, there we go. Probably, yeah. George Washington Irving would have loved that. Sure. Rip Van Winkle, of course, one of his characters. George Gore is 1 for 3. Doubled back in the 1st. Gleason delivers. Here's the 2-0. Come back to the mound. Gleason quickly fielding that one and on to Dan Bruthers. So 2 quick outs here, and that brings up number 2 hitter, Cap Anson. Anson, 3 hits today. Anson reaches for the Gleason delivery. Here's the 0-1. Fastball, and make that 4 hits today. So Cap Anson are perfect. 4 for 4. 2 down and a runner aboard. 13th hit for Chicago. 26 in the game. And here's King Kelly. Kelly, nothing for 3. Gleason deals with 2 out in the 1-2. Fastball, Kelly swings, chopper to short. Jennings to Reeds to get Anson to retire. The side, no runs, 1 hit, no errors. And we head to the bottom of the 6th inning. It's Baltimore 9, Chicago 8. Dan Bruthers, 3 runs batted in, will lead it off here. Wee Willie Keeler and Steve Brody. Bruthers just having an amazing day at the plate. 3 runs batted in thus far. Ted Kennedy brings it home. The 1-2, Bruthers swings and scorched to left. Bruthers could get a triple out of this one. Dalrymple trying to chase it down. Ball bouncing all over the place there. Dalrymple's strong peg into Tom Burns, and they're going to hold Big Dan Bruthers to a double. So runner in scoring position. Baltimore now looking to break this open, holding a 1-run lead here in the bottom of the 6th. But just like the Howie Shanks League, no run is safe when it comes to these 2 teams. Wee Willie Keeler, 2 for 3. Ted Kennedy twirls it in, the 2-0. Spitball, fly ball to right. Clarkson back on it, makes the catch, tagging at second, and moving to third is Dan Bruthers as the throw comes into cutoff man, Fred Pfeffer. So the potential Baltimore 10th run now just 90 feet away. And remember, the Red Stockings leading this series 2-0. Steve Brody is 0 for 3 in the game. Last time up, he grounded to second. Kennedy from the stretch, and the 1-2. Changeup. Brody swings on this little tapper to second. Pfeffer goes to Anson, but into score is Dan Bruthers, and it's now 10-8 Baltimore, and we are at hit 27. So, as Jack Aswiski has a question for everybody in the chat, so there you go. Huey Jennings, 1 for 3 now. Bases empty, 1 in for Baltimore here, 10-8 your score. Ted Kennedy into his motion, and the 0-2 spitball. This one, oh, great play by Ned Williamson. Stretches out, gets to his knees, in time to fire across to Cap Anson to retire Jennings for out number 3. 1 run, 1 hit, no errors. We go to the 7th inning here. And it's the 1894 Orioles 10, the 1885 White Stockings 8. So we're at 27 combined hits. Abner Dalrymple now 2 for 3. A triple and a single, an RBI triple back in the first. So Chicago wasting no time in the first inning, coming out with 5 runs. Would score 1 in the second, 2 in the fifth. Baltimore, 2 runs in the first, 4 in the second, 3 in the fifth, and 1 in the sixth. Kid Gleason, the line on him in this game, through 6 innings, 13 hits, 7 runs, 2 strikeouts. Here's a delivery to Abner Dalrymple, the 0-1. Fastball, Dalrymple, chopper to short. Huey Jennings gloves it and fires it on to Dan Bruthers for out number 1. And here's Ned Williamson. He is 2 for 3, including 2 steals. Speaking of steals, waiting on deck is Tom Burns. Gleason fires it in. Here's the 2-0 to Williamson. Fastball popped high on the infield. Huey Jennings straying out on the grass. Kelly coming in. Jennings waving off left fielder Joe Kelly to make the catch for out number 2. George Burns, 3 for 3 today. Gleason deals the 1-1. I'm sorry, Tom Burns. Tom Burns swings. Chopper to second. Huey Jennings ranging to his left, fires to Dan Bruthers, and that will retire the side. 10-8 your score. And certainly Jackass Whiskey, if you're talking about a story about your dog, happy endings are always good. Absolutely. Aaron Reed, of course, here at the park with the Let Me Hear You from Harry Carey. Wilbert Robinson will lead it off here for the Baltimore Orioles in the bottom of the 7th. 10-8 your score. Wilbert Robinson, he is 2 for 3 in the game with 2 singles. Ted Kennedy lets it go. Here's the 1-1. Spitball. And this one scorched to left. Dalrymple up with it. Robinson chugging for 2. Pfeffer's tag not in time. Wilbert Robinson with the leadoff double. So Baltimore looking to really pull away from these dangerous White Stockings. Runner in scoring position potential. Run number 11, and Wilbert Robinson hits the game's 28th hit. Every game in this series has been an absolute battle. It's been crazy. All right. So Reed's his last time. That was the play where he grounded the pitcher. Kennedy was able to hold on and gun down Steve Brody at home. The lefty waits for Ted Kennedy's wind, and here's the 0-2 to Reeds. Reeds swings, grounded deep to George Burns, to Tom Burns, who cannot hold on to it. Score that E6, third error for the White Stockings, and 2-0 board now, and nobody out for Gleason. As Jackass Whiskey said, speaking of Kennedy, they just bought a case of Cutty Sark Prohibition edition with the wooden box, 6 bottles. The wooden box is extremely cool. So, of course, Joe Kennedy, bit of a bootlegger in the Prohibition era. And mob aficionados would say that perhaps Bobby Kennedy should have maybe remembered that Papa Joe was connected. But there you go. Complicated story, the Kennedy family. And I admire the Kennedy family. Yes, I'm a liberal. You all know that, though. Robinson at third, Reeds at first. And Kennedy ready to deal now to Kid Gleason. The pitcher is 2 for 3. And hopefully, yeah, here's the pitch, the 2-1. And there goes Reeds, and hit and run was on, and coming home to score is Robinson. No throw to first. And here is Joe Kelly batting with 1 out. It is now 11-8. Losing my voice here, 2 very long games. Kennedy deals to Joe Kelly. Kelly swings. This one bounding ball to third. Williamson to Pfeffer for 1. Pfeffer onto Anson for the inning-ending double play. So it could have been a lot worse for Ted Kennedy. But Baltimore adds to their lead. A run, 1 hit, 1 error. We go to the 8th inning. It's Baltimore 11 and the White Stockings 8. As Ken Castro says, 2 wonderful games tonight. Thank you, Cousin Ken. Cousin Ken hanging in there, man. Thank you very much. So very much. Fred Pfeffer. Now, yeah, a 15-inning affair and a slug. Well, I don't know. We'll call it a run fest here. How about it? Appreciate you, cousin. Heart and soul of this channel. Okay, Gleason looking strong out there. As Gleason deals to Pfeffer. Pfeffer not part of this big attack. 28 hits, and Pfeffer doesn't have any of them. He's 0 for 3. Gleason twirls it for the 1-0. Pfeffer chops to short, or to third, and McGraw could actually have taken a chaise lounge, sat at third, and made the out, retiring Pfeffer. So 1 away for John Clarkson now, the number 8 hitter for the 1885 White Stockings. RBI in this game. He is 1 for 3. Kid Gleason deals the 0-2. And this one, a routine play, an actual routine play. Reitz to Bruthers for the 4-3 and 2 down for Ted Kennedy. Kennedy, nothing for 3, would like to help his team out. He struck out, grounded out twice. The 0-1. Change-up, this one shot up the middle, but Heine Reitz says nope, as he fires it on to Dan Bruthers for the 4-3 putout. No runs, no hits, no errors. We go to the bottom of the 8th. The Baltimore Orioles 11, the Chicago White Stockings 3. Due up, John McGraw, Dan Bruthers, and Willie Keeler. McGraw in the box now. Kennedy deals the 1-1. McGraw with his fastball turns on it. This one high, this one deep, but Abner Dalrymple running back and catching it between his 2 hands. 1 away. As Dan Bruthers steps in with 3 hits today. The 2-0, Bruthers turns on the fastball, base hit. Left field, Dalrymple gets it into Tom Burns, and that is hit 29. 16 for Baltimore, 13 for Chicago. Bruthers with speed, aggressive lead off first as Willie Keeler steps in. Perfect hit and run tandem. I know if Cousin Ken was managing, he would be calling for it because these White Stockings can come back and get you. Kennedy deals to Keeler. Fastball, base hit, right field, and that hit and run would have worked nicely. Clarkson up with the ball, Bruthers round second, and he's going to make third as the throw hits the cutoff man, Fred Pfeffer at second. Runners at the corners for the Orioles. Steve Brody will come up to hit now. Kennedy deals from the stretch in the 1-1. Brody base hit. Brody will pick up the RBI. Bruthers will come in to score. Keeler will move to second on the play. Brody at first. It is now 12-8 Baltimore. Huey Jennings now had a base hit back in the 5th. King Kelly has a word with Ted Kennedy back behind the dish. Kennedy brings it home to Jennings. Fastball grounded to third. Williamson to Pfeffer to Anson. And the inning-ending double play, but another run scores, 3 hits, no errors. We go to the 9th inning. The Orioles of 1894, looking to stay alive in this contest, are leading the 1885 White Stockings 12-8. And here we go. Ken Castro says that he hopes Baltimore holds on so we can have another game between these two. So do I. I'd like to see this one. This is a best of 5. I'd love to see this one go 5. This has been, of all the games, this has been the most fun. So Gleason showing that he's okay, and just for giggles. Again, there's got some pitchers here for Baltimore. Should Baltimore need, but the best ERA off the bench is Duke Esper with a 3.92. Goes up from there. Curtly Baker only worked one game and no innings pitched, so we can't. That 0 earned run average means absolutely nothing. You look at these hit percentages here, pretty crazy. Just going to see if Kid Gleason can hold on here and get these 3 outs. Clinton will like this result if it holds. Yeah, his horse in this race, the 1894 Baltimore Orioles, if I remember correctly, Ken. All right, here we go. So George Gore and Cap Anson and King Kelly, 3 significant names in the 19th century, are going to try to get past Ned Hanlon's Orioles. Gore 1 for 4, doubled way back in the first. And as long as this game is, it feels way back. Gleason deals the 1-1. Gore sends this up the middle, base hit. Here we go. Here we go. So we are at hit number 32 combined in this game. And out of those 32 hits, Cap Anson has 4 of them. So 4 for 4 for the Chicago first baseman. And one of them an RBI. It was an RBI double back in the first. Gleason checks Gore at first, and the 1-2 delivery. Spitball, base hit, right field. Gore rounding second as Keeler is up with the ball. They're going to hold Gore at second. And looking at Gleason, he's still below his pitch count. We're going to leave him in there. Kelly 0 for 4. So King Kelly a little frustrated watching his batting average really plummet as of this at bat. Kel hitting just 167. Everybody on the hit parade except Michael King Kelly. He's up there right now having a nice stiff Irish whiskey saying, "Don't you be worrying, lad. We'll take it out of here now." And I'm hoping. Come on, Cal. Here's the delivery from Kid Gleason to King Kelly, the 1-1. Fastball. This one grounded to short, and Huey Jennings cannot hold on to it. So Kelly doesn't get the base hit, but he does get on base, courtesy of the error by Huey Jennings. And the bases are loaded with Chicago White Stockings. And here's Abner Dalrymple, who is 2 for 4. Dalrymple represents the tying run. There's nobody out here in the 9th. Cousin Ken and I hoping that the Orioles can hold on, even though the White Stockings are kind of the sentimental favorite here, I think. Gleason works from the stretch to Abner Dalrymple. Wilbur Robinson out to have a quick chat with him. Here's the pitch to Dalrymple. The 2-2. Spitball, base hit, left field. In to score is George Gore. Rounding third is Cap Anson. Cap Anson will score. And as we said, no lead is safe. 2 plated here for the White Stockings. It is now 12-10. This could go extras right now, Bernard. We are in the 9th between these two 19th century Titans. And it's 12-10. And the 1885 Chicago White Stockings were a great team. So we truly do have a battle of Titans. And Bernard, all 3 of these games between these two teams have been like this. Just crazy. So Ken had predicted the over-under 28 hits in this game. We're at now hit number 34 combined. All right, King Kelly is at second. Abner Dalrymple at first. Nobody out. And the go-ahead run is at the plate. Thank you, Bernard. This is a fun game to watch. Gleason deals. Oh no, Tony Mullane is in. We will talk about Tony Mullane. Base hit. Williamson is going to move Kelly over to third. Dalrymple at first. Williamson. So the bases are loaded, and let's look at Tony Mullane. So another Irishman. And again, emblematic of the not-so-good pitching of these Baltimore Orioles of 1894, but an absolutely explosive offense. Mullane with a 6.31 earned run average. 6 wins, 9 losses, 4 saves, 122 and 2/3 pitched in 1894. Gave up 4 home runs, 90 walks, 43 strikeouts. The National League hitting .313 against Mullane in 1894, and his whip was a 1.997. If you can't tell the story, we totally understand. We completely understand. Tom Burns with 3 hits today. Tom Burns could be in line should the White Stockings win this. Tom Burns may get MVP or at least share it. Going to be hard to pick one for this game. We'll see. Nobody out, bases loaded. Tony Mullane has inherited an absolute mess. He is responsible for Kelly and Dalrymple at third and second, respectively. Mullane works from the stretch in the 0-2 fastball. Burns chopper to McGraw. McGraw's going to go to Reitz, and Reitz to Bruthers. However, a run will be forced home, and the White Stockings are within 1. And we are in the bottom of the 9th. We're going to go to pitch mode for this one as Fred Pfeffer steps in the box. The winning run, or the tying run, 90 feet away. Fred Pfeffer is the winning run. There was a home run in this game. So we're going to go pitch by pitch. Mullane, of course, not asking for a new ball. This one is emeryed, spit, shined, spiked, you name it. Tobacco and licorice. And as one dead ball player said, we weren't trying to hit a ball up there, we were trying to hit a squash. I'm trying to remember who said that. All right, Tony Mullane working from the stretch with Abner Dalrymple at third. 2 away. Baltimore looking to hold on. The White Stockings looking to win it and advance to the next round. Tony Mullane kicks and fires. Here's the pitch. And first pitch swinging. And Pfeffer sends this deep to center. And the Baltimore Orioles squeak this one out. A come-from-behind victory, actually. Staving off a 9th inning rally by the Chicago White Stockings. And take this one 12-11. This is going to be a fun recap. So, how about it? For the 1894 Baltimore Orioles, 12 runs, 18 hits, 3 errors. 1885 Chicago White Stockings, 11 runs, 17 hits, and 3 errors. So, 35 total hits in this game, 23 runs, and 6 errors. Ted Kennedy tagged with a loss for Chicago. He'll go to 0-1. Kid Gleason picks up the win for the Baltimore Orioles. He will go to 2-0. So Ned Foxy Hanlon, very happy about that for Kid Gleason. Highlights for the 1885 White Stockings. What an explosive game this one was again. Cap Anson goes 5 for 5 in the day with a double and a stolen base. Tom Burns 3 for 5 with 2 runs batted in. Abner Dalrymple 3 for 5 with 3 runs batted in. For the victorious Baltimore Orioles, Wee Willie Keeler went 3 for 5 in a day. Wilbert Robinson 3 for 4 with a double. Dan Bruthers 4 for 5 with a home run and 3 runs batted in. We'll have a look at pitching here. So Ted Kennedy pitched 8 innings, 18 hits, 12 runs, 7 earned, a home run, a walk, 2 strikeouts. Kid Gleason pitched 8 innings, 16 hits, 11 runs, 8 earned. So Baltimore wins this game either way by 1 run, 8-7 if we factor out the errors. and struck out 2. Tony Mullane picks up the save, his first inning in relief. Was just touched up for a hit, and that is it. Let us look at our miscellaneous here. So, errors 2 by Tom Burns, Ted Kennedy with an error, Huey Jennings with 2 errors, and Joe Kelly with that costly error in left field. Doubles, Cap Anson, his second of the tournament, also for George Gore. Dan Bruthers picks up a double, as does Kid Gleason. And Wilbert Robinson picks up double number 3 in the tourney. Abner Dalrymple gets his triple. First home run was Dan Bruthers, his second in the tournament off of Ted Kennedy. This was back in the first with 1 on, so a 2-run shot. Stolen bases, and it was all the White Stockings. And trying to parse through all of this, Ned Williamson with 2. Tom Burns with 3. Cap Anson with a steal as well. And also Abner Dalrymple. Anson was caught stealing, and Heine Reeds for Baltimore caught stealing. RBI in this game, Anson. Tom Burns picked up 2. Clarkson with an RBI. Abner Dalrymple with 3. Fred Pfeffer picked up an RBI. Ned Williamson, all for Chicago. Baltimore, Steve Brody with 2 runs batted in to bring his total to 9. Dan Bruthers had 3. Kid Gleason 2. And Joe Kelly 4 runs batted in. The game-winning RBI goes to Joe Kelly, and the MVP goes to Dan Bruthers. This would have been a tough one to pick, but there you go. Let's look at our playoff bracket now. So, indeed, our 19th century, well, we have 3 19th century teams, and they stayed alive. So, the Chicago White Stockings with a 2-1 lead over the 1894 Baltimore Orioles. When next we convene, it's going to be back to the 1912 Boston Red Sox against the 1884 Providence Grays. Chicago Cubs of 1907 and 1908 Cleveland Naps waiting in round 3. And we will see. This is far from decided yet. Providence making it a tough game last night and taking care of the 1912 Red Sox. And boy, anybody's guess with this Chicago Baltimore game. It's been fun. So, whew, so much fun. And Cousin Ken says, "Oh my God, what a great game, Cousin! Thanks. My pleasure. My pleasure." So, Bernard, yeah, I know, right? Oof. Oh man, you are so welcome, Cousin. So for anybody that missed it, we had a 15-inning affair in Game 1 of our alternate replay of the 1915 World Series between the Philadelphia Phillies and the Boston Red Sox. The Philadelphia Phillies won it in extras in 15 innings. And then, of course, this run fest, just a battle between these two teams. So it'll be fun in a couple days to come back. Tomorrow will be, as I said, the Boston Red Sox and the Providence Grays. And then Wednesday will be... And tomorrow's night game will be a bit later. I'm going out to do a bit of drinking tomorrow night. So, but there still will be a game tomorrow night. It will just be this one. And then Wednesday night will be Chicago and Baltimore. Thank you, Bernard. He says, very entertaining. Have to watch more of these games. Well, the same to you, man. I'm enjoying the 1950 replay. I'm catching a lot of your stuff on the back end. I like to watch it. When's your next broadcast? Oh, Bernard, I got to do this for you, by the way. So hang on a second. Don't run away. You get a wrench, and one of the reasons that you get a wrench is first just showing up to the channel a few times, but second, so when you type something, you're going to see that blue wrench. So also, that allows you to put a link to your channel so that people can subscribe to it. And please never feel shy when you're in this chat, part of this family, to just, let us know when your next broadcast is or whatever. I really, really like to be very community driven. I might have a crappy mic and all that other stuff, but damn it, we're here to have fun. So, Bernard, don't ever hesitate. Let us know when your next broadcast is. And again, subscribe to Bernard Stroom's Sports Replays. Doing a really fun replay of the 1950 Boston Red Sox season. I believe the Boston Red Sox finished third that year. Um, but a really, really, really good game. I think it was a Red Sox-Tigers game. Yeah, Red Sox-Tigers game that I caught from Bernard. I believe it was yesterday or the day before. Really, really fun. So do check it out. Bernard, I think he is, in our sports gaming community, I think he is like our newest streamer. So he started back on 15 April with his inaugural game and hope to see many, many more years from Bernard doing. I'll just be tuning into the baseball, but a lot more. Okay, so this coming Thursday, 1:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, some more 1950 Boston Red Sox. So again, that's done on PC Replay Baseball. Bernard calls a good game. Very knowledgeable baseball fan. Again, we've got such a great community here in the family we've created. Best of the best here. So my deepest thanks to Bernard Stroom. And Jack S. Whiskey asking, non-related baseball question, who likes the movie Bowfinger? Never saw it. I never saw the movie. What's it about? Bowfinger. I have no idea. But we'll wait for the answer for that one. But in the meantime, thank you so much to Jack S. Whiskey and Pinto Beans, one of our more colorful members of the family, Bernard Stroom Sports Replay. Heart and soul with his channel, Cousin Ken Castro. And now as we go back, we're not going to be able to get everybody because I think at the 2-hour mark it starts cutting off the chat. Aaron Reed was hanging out with us a bit tonight. Thank you so much, Aaron. Christopher Slovic, thank you. I'll be messaging Christopher, hoping to catch a Harrisburg Senators game with him. Mark Roberts was with us for a while, as was Dan Burke. Thank you guys so very, very much. John DFW was in during the 1915 game. Thank you, John. You are very, very much appreciated as well. Steve Tate, Dave Gardner, JT Dutch. Always fun to have JT Dutch in chat as well. And Samuel Smith, way, way, way back, and Big Clue. So that will do it for me tonight as far as voice broadcasting. So I'm still in the mood for some baseball, but it's 12:43. Nope, done with baseball for tonight. So I'm going to go off and play Volson, Lords of Mayhem. I'm really addicted to that game. So it's a Diablo-like game that's absolutely brilliant. Beautiful game. So have fun, guys, and we'll see you for a late game tomorrow night after I get in from doing some drinking. It'll be fun. Gonna have some Tullamore Dew and Guinness tomorrow night. Can't wait. Until then, everybody be safe, have fun, roll up some games. What will I be drinking? Guinness and a great Irish whiskey called Tullamore Dew. So, cannot wait, cannot wait. When I go out, it's Irish beverages for me, pal. And I will be toasting Michael Collins. By the way, quickly, for the few cinema files left in here, right now, free on YouTube, is a superb movie starring Liam Neeson, Aidan Quinn, Julian Roberts, and Alan Rickman. And that movie is Michael Collins. Check it out. In the meantime, guys, be safe and have fun. And we'll see you around the batting cage. Good night.